down, 5 yards to go for the Buckeyes at the 43 of OSU. We approach the 9-minute mark, second quarter. Johnny Wooldridge. There he goes. Arsado's barking signals. Late pitch. Touchdown! From Ohio Stadium on the campus of the Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio, it's Ohio State football. Today, the Ohio State Buckeyes meet the Iowa Hawkeyes. Hello, everybody. I'm Jack Kramer along with Paul Warfield, and we are set to close out the home schedule of the 1987 season as Ohio State takes on Iowa. The Hawkeyes come into the game today, Paul, with a mark of 7-3. Only 3 weeks ago, just 4-3. Iowa has been on a roll since.
Well, Jack, they've been on a roll primarily because of Chuck Hartlieb, their fine quarterback. He has made things happen for this football club in recent weeks. Going back earlier in the year, Hayden Fry was a little bit undecided on his quarterback situation, but when he finally decided to go to Hartlieb, things started to happen for Iowa in a big way, and especially last week with a record-shattering passing performance against Northwestern.
What's going through the minds today of the Ohio State seniors who are playing their last game in the Horseshoe? You should know, you were a senior here playing your last game just a few years ago. Well, several years ago, anyway.
Well, it certainly hasn't been the kind of year that Buckeye football fans and the Buckeye players would have liked to have had. As I go back to 1963, it wasn't the kind of year, senior year, that I would have liked to have had and Ohio State would have liked to have had. However, in 63, we wanted to go down the stretch winning our last 2 ball games. I think that's true here today. The Buckeyes want to restore some pride in this program. They want to finish out with a winner in their senior game here in the final game at Ohio Stadium so that it can carry over to next week.
Well, over the years, most everybody in Ohio State's teams has played Iowa especially well, including those seniors. Iowa has not won here at Ohio Stadium since the year 1959. We're a moment away from the kickoff of today's game between Ohio State and Iowa. It is Ohio State will receive the opening kickoff, Paul. Iowa will kick it off to start play. Buckeyes coming off their biggest game of the season offensively in terms of yardage generated last week against Wisconsin.
Well, I believe that they'd like to keep that offense moving here today, particularly against Iowa. It is a big ball game here for the Buckeyes. Final home game for many of the seniors, and I think Earle Bruce wants to give his offense a chance to get on the field, get started in a hurry, to create some momentum that started last week and keep it going here today against Iowa.
Iowa head coach Hayden Fry in year number 9. He's won Coach of the Year honors in 3 conferences, including the Big Ten Conference just a couple seasons back. Of course, Ohio State head coach Earle Bruce, also in his 9th year, at the helm of the Ohio State football program. Rob Houtland prepares to kick it off for the Hawkeyes. Kicking from the south goal to the north. Snow dropped the kickoff. Buckeyes fall on it at the 17.
Not particularly the way you want to start a ball game. Carlos Snow, I believe, lost that football looking up into a very bright sun. Fortunately, Vince Workman back there with a lot of experience pounced on the ball in a hurry.
Last few weeks, Carlos would have been looking up into a lot of clouds, maybe even a rainstorm.
That's right.
A lot of sunshine drenching Ohio Stadium here today. Split back formation. Tom Tupa, who was 16 for 24 throwing last week, starts the game off with a handoff, and the Buckeyes chew up 3 yards on the game's first play. Snow was tackled by Dave Haight.
Okay, for the Buckeyes along the offensive line, Stasiak, Coles at left guard, Uelink at center, Greg Zakharoff right guard, and Tim Moxley at the right tackle. The receivers today, Jeff Ellis at tight end, Everett Ross, and Vince Workman at the flanker. The backs, Tupa, Carlos Snow, and George Cooper at the fullback post.
2 tight ends for Ohio State, which displays the robust T, and the Bucks grind out about 2 or 3 more. As on the first 2 plays of the day, Carlos Snow records gains of 2 or 3 yards each time. Third down, at least 4 coming up for the Buckeyes. Defensively for Iowa, Mott, Kepi, Haight, Schuster, and Burke along the line of scrimmage. Puck and Quast are your linebackers. In the secondary, Hanks, Burt, Sistrunk, and Wright. Buckeyes must reach the 27 for a first down. 3rd and 4. Tupa sprinting, hits Tony Coop. First down out to the 32. An advance of about 9 yards on the play.
From the slot formation on the right, very good awareness by Tony Coop. As you see him down in the bottom portion of your screen, he just finds the open spot right there in between the Iowa zone coverage, hooks up, makes the catch, and gets the necessary yardage for the first down. Kerry Burt, the fine safety for Iowa, made the stop on the play.
Tupa hit Coop on that play for the 8th time this year. This is Snow over right guard, churned for 3 yards. Second down, 7 coming up. Productive game for Carlos a week ago, nearly 80 yards, 17 carries.
Iowa will make it tough for the Buckeyes to run the football, Jack. They are number 2 in the Big Ten against the rush. Buckeyes will have much the same kind of problem that they had against Michigan State a few weeks ago, trying to move that football on the ground, so they'll probably have to mix it up with some passing on first down.
Hawkeyes defensively yield just 2.9 yards per rushing attempt. Tupa still has it. Now he must eat it. He gets back across the line of scrimmage for a pickup of a couple. Third down, at least 4 coming up. Mike Burke surrounded the play for Iowa.
Tom Tupa that time, Jack, wanted to throw the ball to Jeff Ellis, coming from the right to the left on the screen underneath. But just as he attempted, after making this play-action fake to Carlos Snow to throw the football, he could not throw it at that point because of a defender's arm in his way. Now number 5, Mike Burke right there chasing Tupa. Tupa eludes him, then gets by him. Burke comes back to make the stop along with another Iowa defender on the play.
Buckeyes passing on third down. The screen is over the head of Snow. So Ohio State, which converted a first down on its first third down try of the day, fails here and must punt. Anthony Wright was covering Carlos in the flat. Tom Tupa will be punting against a very slight breeze from the south. Tom averaging over 47 yards a boot. And the Hawkeyes have one man back deep inside the 15-yard line, Marciano. Tupa's kick to Peter Marciano is a very tall one. Fair catch, Marciano at the 11.5. Good kick. Hawkeyes backed up inside their 15, 1st and 10.
A very fine punt by Tom Tupa. Had great hang time on it. Pushed Iowa back inside of their own 15-yard line. The ball resting at about the 12-yard line. Buckeye defense will get a chance to start well.
50-yard kick by Tupa. No return. So he increased his net punting average. Hayden Fry looking on at the Iowa offense, which is number 1 in the Big Ten. Draw play on the game's opening play for the Hawkeyes, and it nets about 6 yards. As Harmon bolted ahead for 6, tackled by Mike Showalter.
The Hawkeyes along the offensive line, Alexander, Schmidt, Davis, Fetters, Herb Webster at right tackle. Watkins, Marv Cook, an active tight end, and Quinn Early, their leading receiver. And the backs are Chuck Hartlieb, Rick Bayless, Dave Hudson, although Harmon made the initial start at running back.
Hartlieb shoots it to his tight end, who loses it. It's picked up. Racing down the sideline is Pelini. It's a touchdown. Andrew Garner
on the bootleg action will swing to the right and hit his big tight end with the ball. He is hit instantly. Ball pops out into Andrew Gird's hands. Gird picks the ball up and sprints towards the end zone. However, the officials rule that the ball is down. After the stop, Buckeyes will have the football at about the 27-yard line of Iowa.
First and 10 Buckeyes at the Iowa 27. We were all caught up in the excitement of the play, which was called back, but the Buckeyes are in business. George Cooper goes over top for 2 yards. Interestingly enough, Paul, in the last 3 seasons, the Buckeye defense has registered a touchdown against Iowa. Almost had one then.
Right you are, Jack. By virtue of a turnover, interception, fumble, or something or another, the Buckeyes have scored the last 3 years against Iowa. It apparently looked like deja vu, as it was going to happen again. For some reason, that ball was ruled dead on the play.
Well, it was ruled a completed pass, and then the ball was shaken loose, and the defensive team can't advance the football. The ball was down right where Ohio State recovered it. Tupa on second down and 8 is in some trouble. He lost it out of bounds inside the 10. Intended for Ellis, who will play for the injured Alex Higdon today. Third down coming up.
Tom Tupa electing to go to Ellis initially underneath on the coverage, but a lot of traffic in that area as Iowa had fine coverage in the short zone areas. Tupa had to drift out of the pocket, then tried to go to Ellis as Ellis tried to work free down the left sideline, but far little too room to throw the football in there to Jeff Ellis.
10 minutes, 11 seconds to go. First quarter, no score. Buckeyes knocking on the door. 25-second play clock is down to 5. Buckeyes have got to hurry up. Just got it away. Third and 8. Tupa aims down the middle. Everett Ross. It's going to be a touchdown.
Not exactly the way that you want to throw a touchdown pass with the play clock winding down, but Tupa shows a lot of poise as he hits Everett Ross on a crossing pattern. Ross eludes the Iowa safety man and then outruns number 45. Merchant Hanks gets into the end zone, although Hanks gets a hand on him.
Extra point try by France is good. And the Buckeyes lead at 7-0 with 10:08 to go in the first quarter. Hayden Fry said this week, Paul, that the Buckeyes played their best game of the year against the Hawkeyes, and they're off to a good start.
Well, last week, Tom Tupa was off to a good start in the first half, and he's doing again here in this half of the ball game against Iowa, hitting Everett Ross on that crossing pattern. Ross getting into the end zone before Hanks makes the stop, and the Buckeyes jump out quick right here with a 6-point advantage backed up by Matt France, his point after touchdown for the 7-point. Buckeyes ahead 7-0.
And that PAT by France breaks the consecutive string mark of Vlade Janikiewski. France had tied that mark last week, 47, and he's just kicked number 48 in a row. Buckeye defense gave the Ohio State offense the football, and then the Buckeyes cashed in. Big third down play.
Third down plays are ones that you have to make, but I think the success for Ohio State's offense today will be staying out of those definite third down possession situations. Buckeyes on that drive, 3 plays, total of 27 yards, 56 seconds, ending with a 25-yard TD pass from Tom Tupa to Everett Ross.
So as Amaro did 5 minutes ago, he kicks off again. The catch is made at the 5-yard line, and then the Iowa man steps out of bounds. And the Hawkeyes have made 2 big mistakes so far in this game, Paul.
Well, that was a big error by Mike Saunders, I believe it was. And he caught the ball, not knowing exactly where he was on the field. Caught it just as he stepped out of bounds. It's going to put Iowa in the hole.
Buckeyes set up defensively with Holloman, Sullivan, and Showalter along the line of scrimmage. Cumro, Spielman, Gerd, and McCray are your linebackers. Jackson, White, Dumas, and Brown in the secondary. It was Andrew Gerd, 49, on Iowa's first possession, who'd run in the apparent touchdown, but it was brought back. Here's Iowa running it out of a big hole across the 20 to the 21-yard line goes Harmon. Dumas on the tackle, but a gain of 16 on the play.
Gain of 15 yards, first down, Iowa.
Kevin Harmon, the leading rusher for the Iowa Hawkeyes, follows Hudson up through the hole. Big hole, jumps over some outstretched Buckeye hands, spins away from a Buckeye tackler. Zach Dumas then comes up. Harmon, a shake and bake kind of runner, can make you miss, and he made Ray Jackson, 47, miss on that play.
Running is not Iowa's strong suit. And they're throwing on this one long down the middle of the tight end. The catch is made inside the 45 to the 41. Mike Flagg on the receiving end. Flagg, the 6'6", 250-pound tight end. The tight ends for Iowa this year, Paul, have made 50 catches.
Got a lot of balls, and this is a big catch right here as Hartlieb goes down the middle to Mike Flagg. This is the strength of Iowa's offense into the tight ends, and also wingback Quinn Earle. Big pass play down the middle, and a big game for Iowa, and the Hawkeyes, who were backed up just a moment ago in trouble, are now across the 50-yard line.
Brown and Gerd were in there on the tackle for Ohio State, but it's a first down. Here's the forward pitch to Harmon. Harmon sprinting inside the 30 and crashing down to the 28. Another Iowa first down. Jackson on the tackle.
Good mixture employed by the Hawkeyes, as they're throwing the football, running Harmon using his individual talents. This is the shovel pass as Harmon will come up inside. The ball is dealt to him, running off a good block at the point by number 20 Hudson, getting down across field. Jackson makes the stop. Iowa's moving the football quite well right now against a strong Ohio defensive team.
Chuck Hartlieb, 6'3", 230-pound senior signal caller. Draw play, Harmon swerving around right in, not much room. As the Buckeyes shut down the play after a 3-yard advance. Good support against the run provided by cornerback Zach Dumas, who nailed Harmon. Second down, 7.
Harmon is a little bit different type of runner, I think, than the Buckeyes have seen up to this point. They saw Lorenzo White of Michigan State a few weeks ago, who was a good cutback runner, but Harmon is a guy who will give you a leg here and take it away. He's a very difficult target to hit.
Hawkeyes must reach the 18 for a first down. Running play picks up about 4, 3 shy of a first down. Andrew Gerd wrapped up the ball carrier. Ray Holloman assisted. Harmon for Iowa seeing a lot of work in the early going.
Well, Jack, they feature him not only on the run, but they also feature him on the pass, as he's been a good receiver coming out of the backfield. He's caught about 24 passes for a little over 255 yards and a TD. So he's a double threat out of that Iowa backfield.
Third down, a little over 3 for Iowa. Play action. Hartlieb setting up. Screens it to the right. Incomplete forward pass. As Hudson, the fullback, had it momentarily, then lost it. Iowa's faced with 4th and 3, Paul.
You can thank Mike McCray, number 99, putting a lot of pressure on Hartlieb on that play. Rick Bayless, 13, down the ball game for Harmon. McCray will come in and pressure Hartlieb at the last second, forcing him to dump the ball out in the flat to Hudson, who has to go down low to make the reception. Iowa comes up short and will have to try for the field goal.
Hartlieb will hold for Houtland. A 39-yard attempt from right to left, and it's good. Houtland now 17 of 25 in the field goal department this year. And it's Ohio State 7, Iowa 3, 7:34 left in the opening stanza.
Houtland has just been an outstanding kicker. His percentage, Jack, is unbelievable this year. He is just Mr. Automatic every time they put the ball down for a PAT or for a field goal.
Well, of his 8 misses, 5 have been from 50 yards out or better. He's nearly perfect from inside the 50-yard stripe, and he nailed that one.
It is a mighty potent weapon for a coach to have, knowing that you can go to that field goal kicker almost at any spot inside of 50 yards, and he's got a very high percentage of making it.
How about that call for an explosive scoring drive? Gee.
Well, it was impressive, covering 94 yards, ending with, I'm sorry, well, not quite 94 yards, but ending with a 39-yard field goal by Houghton.
As the Hawkeyes covered most of the field in just a little over 2.5 minutes, settled for 3 to bring them a little closer to the Bucks, who hold on to the 4-point advantage. Buckeyes with 2 men back inside the 15, Workman and Snow. Outland's first kickoff was short. So on this one, Snow and Workman move up the field, and it's Snow from the 20. He's got an avenue back out across the 35. And from that point, the Buckeyes will start this offensive thrust 1st and 10. Craig Clark, a member of the Iowa special teams and a backup tight end on offense, made the tackle. 1st down, Ohio State. Defensively, number 2 in the conference in total defense. A little better against the rush than the pass. Buckeyes with 2 tight ends in the game, Cook and Ellis. Tupa dropped the snap, falls on it. A loss of a couple, 2nd down, 12 coming up.
Buckeye offense can ill afford to have mistakes such as a fumble snap like that, because Iowa's been so tough and consistent defensively. They'll force Ohio State into short passing situations, and when you look at this Iowa secondary between their 2 safeties, Dwight Sistrunk and Kerry Burt, they're among the leaders in interceptions in the Big Ten, and so Buckeyes will have to be careful in throwing the football over the middle today.
Yeah, those 2 guys, Paul, have a combined total of 12 intercepts. Tupa wants to pitch it. He's in some trouble. Throws high over the middle. It's intercepted. Brad Quast run out of bounds at the 25. 1st and 10 Hawkeyes. Well, what's the old saying, Paul, about throwing late over the middle?
Well, Tom Tupa did everything that you could possibly do wrong on that attempted pass that wound up as an interception. He went back in the pocket, received some pressure. Now he's got pressure on him. At this point, he'd be well advised to eat the football, but he throws off balance with nothing on the football over the middle of the field, the most dangerous place, right into the hands of the Iowa linebacker defender, Brad Quast, and it's a big play for Iowa as they have the football back now deep in Ohio State's territory at the Buckeye 25-yard line.
6:41 left in the first quarter. Ohio State 7, Iowa 3. Hartlieb almost coughed up the snap from center. Juggled it, managed to hang on to the pigskin, and he, like Tupa, lost a couple yards. Ray Holloman, coming off a fine game last week and having an outstanding season, made the tackle on the Iowa quarterback.
Of course, the Buckeye defense has played very well all year long, but this is certainly a spot in which its back is up against the wall, and it has to play well here to hold a fine offensive unit to hopefully just 3 points or practically nothing if possible.
3 wide receivers have been employed. Hartlieb on the sprint out. It's intercepted at the 19-yard line. William White picked it off. And like it has all year, the Buckeye defense turns in a big play.
Hartlieb doesn't really throw very many interceptions. William White has the receiver, Travis Watkins, number 2, covered like a glove, breaks on the football, sees it all the way, makes a great interception. Buckeyes defense really rises to the occasion and takes the ball back away from Iowa.
William White, who had 3 interceptions in the opening game of the season. Vince Workman carried the football for about 2 or 3 yards, just short of the 25. Mike Burke wrapped him up for Iowa.
As we had said before, Jack, there are a lot of seniors playing their final ball game for the Buckeyes out on the field today. They certainly want to go out with a win and have a lot of pride in being out there and wearing the scarlet and gray today.
Under 5.5 minutes to go, first quarter. Buckeyes have asked for a timeout. The 25-second clock had slipped down to 8. Buckeyes with a 2nd and 5 or 6 facing them have decided to expend a timeout.
Buckeyes need to stay in these kinds of situations, Jack, against a very talented Iowa defensive unit. They need to stay in the 2nd and medium range or 2nd and short yardage so that they have the flexibility in their play calling selection to keep the Iowa defensive unit off balance. They don't want to find themselves faced with a must-passing situation too many times because Iowa has a fine defensive unit and can apply a lot of pressure.
It appeared as though, Paul, as the Buckeyes readied themselves for that 2nd down play, that the proper combination of players may not have been on the field for the play that was called.
Well, you spend a timeout in a situation like that, and of course we're still in the first quarter of this ball game. Timeouts become very precious when you get down to the latter portion of the ball game and the latter portion of the half. So the Buckeyes still have 2 remaining, but they don't have to expend one of those. No harm done.
2nd down. Buckeyes need at least 5. Carlos Snow sweeping left in. The Hawkeyes are waiting on him. Iowa's defense strings out the play, which results in no gain. Brad Quast made penetration for the Hawks. 3rd down coming up.
Well, thus far, you have to be impressed with Iowa's ability defensively to stop the run in tight because they've got some big people up front in Dave Haight, 6'3", 260 at nose tackle, Joe Schuster, 6'5", 260 at the one other tackle, and Myron Kepi, 6'3", 260 at the left tackle. And they have the ability to flow to the ball on the wide stuff, too.
Single setback now for Ohio State. Passing down. Tupa shoots it complete across the 30 as he zeroed in with his tight end Ellis. Very close to a 1st down. All depends on the official spot of the pigskin.
Tight ends becoming an even more vital part of the Buckeye offensive attack. This time, Tom Tupa is looking for Jeff Ellis, the freshman, who goes down very close to the 1st down marker. The officials are taking a measurement right now to see if it is, in fact, the 1st down for the Buckeyes.
That catch by Ellis was just his 2nd as a member of the Scarlet and Gray. Inches short of a 1st down. Buckeyes have sent the punting unit on.
Well, unfortunately, Jeff Ellis was turning back for the football and lost balance. It was not a case of his not knowing where he was on the field. So many times you see receivers go down and catch a pass 2 or 3 yards short of a 1st down marker. This wasn't the case with Ellis. He had to go down low to receive the football, back up for it, and lost balance.
So Tom Tupa, whose first punt traveled 50 yards today, retreats to the 15. He'll punt it to Marciano, who's at the Iowa 20. Clock approaching the 4-minute mark. First quarter. Oh, this time Tupa nearly shanks it to the right, but he does get a good roll, and the ball hops out of bounds inside the 35. 1st and 10 Iowa at its own 33. Very rarely does Tom Tupa get off a poor kick, and I'm sure Tom himself would tell you that that boot would have to fall into the poor category.
Well, it was not a good punt, but Tom Tupa, as you well know, Jack, can overcome those poor punts, and before this ball game is over, I'm sure you're going to see some in the 50-yard range again today.
Hayden Fry's offense back on the field, 1st and 10. This is Harmon jitterbugging out across the 35 to the 38, where Mike McCray meets him. Mike Showalter assisted McCray. Iowa faces second down and 5.
Good job by Mike McCray. He just got into a good football position and waited for Harmon to make a series of jitterbugging moves and then followed him and made the stop. Harmon is not an easy target to hit.
Earlier in this quarter, Hartlieb was intercepted by Ohio State. Just the 7th time this year Hartlieb's been picked off. This is Hudson looking for an avenue, can't find one. Eric Cumro subdued the play at the 40, and that sets up a 3rd and 3 for Iowa.
Kind of an odd play run by Iowa that particular time. It didn't look like it was well developed. The timing looked like it was a little off on it, and not much happened as a result of that. Buckeyes did a good job of stopping it quickly.
This Iowa team, Paul, comes into the game converting first downs on 3rd down better than 60% of the time, a remarkable percentage.
That is remarkable.
3rd down, Hartlieb stumbled into the pocket. Now he's covered up for a loss. Eric Cumro and Mike Sullivan sack the quarterback. Iowa must punt it.
As so often happens, the quarterback will stumble over someone's feet pulling out, and this could either be the center or the guard as Hartlieb nearly goes down right at that point. The pocket starts to collapse. He goes up. Sullivan makes the tackle. Cumro in there. The Buckeyes did a good job of pressuring him.
Marv Cook, the tight end, does the punting. Everett Ross on the receiving end of Cook's punt. And Ross stepped back out to the 32. 1st and 10 Buckeyes, 1:59 to go in the quarter. Ohio State leads at 7-3. Craig Clark for Iowa made the tackle on Ross. Buckeyes have it 1st and 10. George Cooper, the only man behind Tupa. Buckeyes with 3 wideouts on 1st down. This is Ellis twisting up to the 38 or 9. J.J. Puck on the tackle for Iowa. Gain of about 7.
Interesting formation for the Buckeyes with only Cooper, the lone back, remaining back there. The Buckeyes sent 4 men out into the pattern. And Tupa found the man underneath, Jeff Ellis. As we told you a little earlier, the tight ends are becoming more and more involved in this passing attack. Ellis catches the ball, makes good yardage, brought down by Quast.
Ellis, tight end on the left. Buckeyes have Cook, tight end on the right. This is Workman slamming to the 47. 1st down, Buckeyes. Buckeyes charged up on this drive. Tackled by Puck.
Nothing fancy about this formation. It's the old T formation, or robust T, as Earle Bruce calls it. Buckeyes tell you they're going to run. And Workman, following Greg Zakharoff through the hole, makes good 1st down yardage, and actually a 1st down, so the Buckeyes moving the football.
Now from the robust T, 1st and 10. George Cooper diving to the 49, gained about 3. Dave Haight, who was 1st team All Big Ten last year, was in there on the stop for the Hawks. Myron Cappy assisted.
Jeff Ulenake playing at center, of course, against Dave Haight. Certainly has his hands full today, but the Buckeyes are showing that they're testing that strong point of the Iowa defensive line, starting to move, get some movement now in the middle of the line. Buckeyes
need 7 for a 1st down. This is Carlos Snow powering to the 44. About a half a yard shy. Kerry Burke came up to greet him as Brutus goes into a stadium trot. Under 15 seconds left opening period. 3rd down and about a foot coming up for Ohio State. 25-second clock has not started. Buckeyes don't need to begin this play. Clock winding down. Time has run out. That is it. The end of the 1st quarter here at Ohio Stadium. Our score, Ohio State 7, Iowa 3. We'll return with more Ohio State football in a moment.
Ohio State University, a distinguished past, a dynamic future.
It's the second quarter of Ohio State football. This is Jack Kramer with Paul Warfield at Ohio Stadium in Columbus. Buckeyes off to a great start. Enthusiasm is carried over to the crowd. Ohio State leading 7-3 in possession at the 44 of Iowa, facing a 3rd and inches. Buckeyes employ the robust tee. George Cooper plunges to about the 44, very close to a first down. There's a chance he might not have made it. Dave Haight, the big 260-pound senior, plugged up what small hole there was. Joe Schuster, who also goes 260, assisted Haight. This Iowa defense came into the game, Paul, number 2 in the conference against the rush, as you mentioned earlier in this broadcast.
They are big, aggressive, and tough inside. And they showed you just how tough they were on that short blast by George Cooper, as we are now having a measurement, because it's just that close, and it appears that the Buckeyes are still about 6 inches or so short of making a first down.
Well, on the Iowa side of the 50, Buckeyes may say, let's go do it. That's why I'm not coaching. On comes the punting unit.
This Iowa offensive unit is far too explosive to give them, to risk giving them an opportunity as close as they are to the 50-yard line in midfield. And so Coach Earle Bruce will rely on his outstanding punter, Tom Tupa, to back them up deeper in their own territory.
Excellent point you made, Paul. Buckeyes will try to back the Iowa offense up inside the 20. Tupa steers it to Marciano, who lets it go over his head, and the Buckeyes will corral it at about the 5. Good job downfield by Pat Thomas, number 54, who played his high school football at Centerville. He was the man who caught up with Tupa's bouncing punt, and Iowa will start 1st and 10 from the 5. Coach Earle Bruce drew it up like that on the sideline before the punt, didn't he, Paul?
He certainly did, and in this game of field position, the Buckeyes right now have the upper hand or the advantage. Iowa is a potent offensive unit. You'd like to give your strong defensive unit all the advantage you can possibly give them, and certainly Tom Tupa gives the Ohio State defensive unit an advantage in this situation in putting Iowa back up to its 5-yard line.
On a possession earlier in this game, the Hawkeyes started from their own 6 and ripped right down the field and got a field goal. Harmon put his head down and wedged out 2 yards. That's all. Mike Showalter, who's had some outstanding football the last few weeks, was in there on the tackle.
Although Iowa's an unpredictable offensive team, you have to figure, Jack, that down in a situation like here, they have to be just a little bit more careful with what they're doing with the football, because they don't want a turnover or a mistake to occur.
Hawkeyes are 8th best in the conference rushing, number 1 passing. Hartlieb going up top. It is broken up at the 9-yard line. Actually, the Buckeyes got a hand on that football as it left the hands of Hartlieb back inside the 4. Good pressure by Holloman and Showalter on the quarterback.
Good pressure coming up the middle from Ray Holloman, 55 and 98. Showalter as the pocket will collapse, and Hartlieb really makes a mistake, a big mistake there, and barely gets away with it as he starts his arm movement forward, and the officials rule it an incompleted pass. Ray Holloman, the guy who nearly caused the big fumble.
Third down and at least 7. Draw play. Harmon sprinting to the outside. Got a first down across the 20 to the 21. David Brown made the tackle, but not before Harmon reached the secondary and netted first down yardage.
Well, he's a Waterberg runner, and he runs to daylight, getting good blocking at the point of attack from Dave Alexander, 55. Hudson goes through there, and he knifes up across the Buckeye 20 to the 22-yard line for a first down. The Buckeyes had them pinned down in the 5-yard line, and now they've allowed the Hawks to get out of a little bit of trouble here and get a little more operating room.
Hawkeyes employed 2 tight ends, but just a single setback, who is Hudson, and he stays on his feet and stubbornly grinds out about 4 yards. Chris Spielman wraps him up.
He's stopped by Ray Jackson and Eric Cumberland.
Second down, a little over 6, perhaps near 7 yards to go for a first down. 12:45 left in the second quarter. Buckeyes still leading 7-3. Now 3 wideouts. Draw play. Hudson is trapped behind the line. Smelled out by Mike Sullivan. McCray was also there. Third and long yardage coming up, about 10 for Iowa.
On the last 2 plays, Mike Sullivan has gotten off the snap of center and gotten into that backfield in great shape. This time, he has Hudson corralled. He slides off the tackle. Chris Spielman makes the final hit and the kill on the play, but you really have to give Mike Sullivan all the credit in the world. He made things really happen on that play by getting across the line of scrimmage and into the Iowa backfield before Hudson could get his hands on the football.
Hawkeyes need a little over 9 for a first down. Hartlieb with some protection. Still searching for a receiver. No good at the 40-yard line. Intended for Devin Harberts. A backup split end. He had it in his grasp. Hartlieb was right on target with it, but Harberts could not hang on to it. Iowa must punt. Marv Cook inside his 10. Bangs it down inside the 35. Ross on the return. Trying to get some interference from Coop, and does manage to bring it back to the 40. 11:33 left second quarter. Jim Riley for Iowa made the tackle. First and 10 Bucks at the 40-yard stripe.
Everett Ross did a good job of fielding that football, not letting it hit the ground. A little bit indecisive, seemingly, as to which way he wanted to go, but finally got going. And at least the Buckeyes start out at their own 40-yard line, and that's good field position to start an offensive drive.
Buckeyes exhibit 3 wideouts. Cooper the lone setback. Tupa with ample time. Loops it down the right side. Ross wide open. On the loose. Everett Ross inside the 20. He's going all the way to the end zone. Touchdown.
On a straight drop back action, throws into Ross, into between the zone area. Now this is all Everett Ross. Great broken field running, spinning away from a tackler at that point, dodging another tackler. Now it's Katie bars the door. He's off into the end zone. A big play for Ohio State and Everett Ross.
The extra point try by France right down the middle. Buckeyes lead it 14-3. 11:19 to go second quarter.
again, straight drop back action, looking for Everett Ross all the way. It's a zone on the far right side of the field. Ross slips in between two defenders at that point, cuts back to the field, spins away from number 3, Kerry Burt, eludes number 45, Merton Hanks, and now it's off to the races for Everett Ross, and a big touchdown for the Buckeyes, 60 yards on the play. Tom Tupa, another look at him throwing in between two defenders in the zone. Everett Ross will catch the ball, elude a tackler at this point, will spin away from Kerry Burt right here. A 360 pirouette for Everett Ross. He could have been in the Columbus Ballet with that one. He goes all the way into the end zone. Very fine move by Everett, having a big day so far here early in the ball game.
The Buckeyes needed just one play after Ross returned the punt to the 40, and Ross was involved in that one play. Good catch, looking into the sun, and then a tremendous run. Of course, Everett was a fine running back when he played high school football at Columbus Eastmore. O'Moro with a slight wind at his back, kicks it off. And 1 yard deep in the end zone, Iowa returns it. Good special teams coverage by Ohio State. Tony Stewart brought it back to the 15, and that was it. And there he met Jim Peel, who flattened him. Fred Ritter assisted. Buckeyes have backed Iowa up at the 15. So far, Paul, in this game of field position, Buckeyes have had the edge. Hayden Fry has been in the hole.
Well, it just goes to show you just how important field position can be to an offensive club or for a defensive unit. The Buckeyes have had the best of it, and they've done a good job of keeping Iowa pinned in back to their own end zone for the most part of it here in the first half.
Hartlieb is passing on first down. Reception at the 28 or 9 yard line. Marvin Cook on the receiving end. Boy, these three tight ends for Iowa have caught 50 passes on the season coming into the game.
They are big, good blockers, but they are also mobile pass receivers. As you see Cook right there do a little toe dance right before catching the ball and stepping out of bounds on the sideline. So these guys are brawny, but they have the agility also to be very much a factor in the passing game for Iowa.
Tight end Marvin Cook now has more than 30 catches on the year. He'd come into the game as the number 2 receiver for Iowa. Hartlieb has completed 4 passes for more than 70 yards. First and 10 for the Hawks. Good pressure. Hartlieb eludes it. Now it's a foot race, as Hartlieb advances it for about 14 yards out to the 43. Spielman sat him down at that point. 2 plays, 2 first downs for the Hawks.
Hartlieb showed real good agility on that play as he gets a blitz from Mike McCray. And number 23 right there, Richard Bass skims off McCray, and now Hartlieb runs downfield, gets valuable yardage. First down, gets Iowa into good field position at the 43-yard line.
10 minutes, 45 seconds to go, second quarter. This is Harmon trying to bounce it to the outside. McCray pulls him down at the 42.
Perfect way to defense a runner like Harmon, who will run all over the field. Watch him from this end zone shot. Take the ball. The play is designed to go up the middle. He bounces outside. But look at that inside support with Mike McCray. He can't cut back inside. He can't go outside because there's a defensive back, William White, waiting for him, and also Chris Spielman coming up on the inside support too. Perfect way to defense a runner like Harmon.
3 wideouts, 1 set back. Second and 11. Hartlieb throws for it. This is Cook, the tight end, tripped up at the 50 by Gerd, who made a neat shoestring tackle, preventing Cook from getting the first down. That sets up a 3rd and 3.
Chuck Hartlieb, as you said, Jack, likes to throw to his tight ends. They have 3 tight ends that they throw to, and they've all caught a total of 50 balls combined together. And that time it was Marv Cook, number 84, who made that nice toe dance catch a couple of plays back on the sideline, showing the good hands and making the reception there.
3 for Iowa. Hawkeyes must get to the 47. Pitch sweep to the left. Harmon cuts it back. He's got it and then some. He could go to the end zone. Jackson chasing him. Touchdown, Iowa. Kevin Harmon on the long touchdown jaunt.
Kevin Harmon gets good blocking. He follows Hudson, number 20, and also number 50, Bill Anderson. Then spins away from a Buckeye defender. Now he's off and running, chasing him right there, number 47, Ray Jackson. But it's a foot race that Harmon is going to win over Ray Jackson and number 27, David Brown of Ohio State, going all the way for a big touchdown. The Hawkeyes are right back in it with that touchdown run, making it 14-9.
Well, not only did Iowa score a touchdown in that play, more bad news for the Bucks. Mike McCray shaken up on his back at the 50.
Mike McCray, of course, has given the Buckeyes outstanding play from the linebacking position. He is a big mobile linebacker. He's on his feet, which is a good sign. Being accompanied off the field by the Ohio State training staff. Looks like he's just momentarily shaken up, but I'm sure that we'll see Mike back into the ball game.
Oh, you're so right, Paul. He has really come into his own this season. 9 minutes and 10 seconds left in the second quarter. And the Hawkeyes will go for 2, trailing by 5. They'll try to cut the deficit to 3. Unusual formation, 3 wideouts. Hartlieb zips it into the end zone, no good. Intended for the tight end Cook. The pass went right through his hands. David Brown was on his back. Good coverage by him, and the 2-point try fails.
Buckeyes had a double coverage on the tight end. It shows you what kind of respect that they have for Marv Cook. They had David Brown on the outside of Marv Cook, and they had Andy Gerd on the inside. So whichever way Cook would go, outside as he did go into the flat, or if he went inside, he would be covered from an inside-out position with a defensive back and a linebacker. Buckeyes successful on that play. 5-point difference in this ball game as Ohio State is up 14-9.
Mike McCray, who played his high school football at Dunbar and Roth in Dayton, on the OSU sideline. Buckeyes defensively did not expect to keep the Hawkeyes out of the end zone all day, that's for sure. Sooner or later, the Hawkeyes were going to get 6 points.
Well, this is a very potent offensive unit. They can do a lot of things very well. Throw the football. We haven't even seen Quinn Earle yet. Last week, he caught a 95-yarder. He is their leading receiver coming into the ball game with 55 catches. Hawkeyes took little time in getting an end zone on that play. 2 minutes, 4 seconds, 85 yards, 5 plays, culminating with Harmon's magnificent spinning 50-yard run for a touchdown.
Speaking of Quinn, Paul, I'd rather see him much later than I would earlier.
Well, that's right, Joe. Jack. We much rather not see him at all. But he's been silent up to this point, and primarily because the Buckeye defenders have been doing a good job against him. But Iowa has a lot of weapons on offense, and he's just one of them, and sooner or later he's going to get involved.
So Outland kicks it off for the Hawkeyes. And it's his third rather short boot. Snow on the run, back out across the 30. So from the 31, Buckeyes will start this offensive effort, 1st and 10.
The short kicks by Houghton really are helping the Ohio State offensive team, because the Buckeyes, each time when they're setting up their offense to start a series, are somewhere near or beyond the 30-yard line, although this time it looks like the Buckeyes are going to be penalized.
A flag was dropped on the return. Gil Marchman signals. Illegal block in the back by the Buckeyes. And Rather than a first down out at the 31, it's 1st and 10 for Ohio State at its own 13. 9 minutes, 4 seconds to go in the second quarter. Buckeyes lead the Hawkeyes 14-9. This is Carlos Snow, wedged out maybe 1 yard. Myron Kepi subdued Snow just beyond the line of scrimmage. Earle Bruce sending in the play call on 2nd down and 9. Snow has checked out. Tony Cupe, an additional wideout, has come in. Ross, Workman, and Cupe are all flanked on this play. Tupa running it across the 20. 2 yards short of a first down. J.J. Puck on the tackle of Tom Tupa, who patiently looked for a receiver and might have made a wise move and zipped downfield for a significant gain.
It appeared that Tom Tupa was looking for Jeff Ellis, who seemed to be drifting a little bit further down into coverage than Tupa wanted him to go. Tupa made up his mind to run the football because the clock was ticking back there in the pocket.
3rd and 2. This is Snow sliding down at the line of scrimmage. Buckeyes fail to convert a first down on 3rd down and must punt the football. Myron Kepi covered Snow on the play.
Carlos trying to make the cut a little bit too quickly there, Jack. Tried to cut off of the inside foot. When you try to do that, you're defying the laws of gravity, and you're simply not going to stay up on your own 2 feet. So he was not really on balance when trying to make that cut there.
Tom Tupa needs a king-size boot. He'll boot it to Marciano, who's at his 25. With a slight wind at his back. It's a low driving kick. Marciano hauls it in at the 31. With some interference, gets back to the 39. 1st and 10 for the Hawkeyes from that point. 6 minutes and 41 seconds to go in the second quarter. Ohio State 14, Iowa 9. It's
a good punt by Tom Tupa, but the low line drive ones are the ones that you're always a little bit afraid of because it doesn't give your coverage team a chance to really get down and cover the punt. Fortunately, Ohio State was in a good position to stop Marciano from going any place before he could really get started, but you're always a little bit afraid of those low line drive punts.
Those were the only ones you'd return, right? This is Harmon bolting up the middle across the 50, first down yardage. A 13-yard scamper by Harmon. Spielman tackled him, first down Iowa.
Harmon will run this football anywhere. He starts to the left. Now watch him cut back, get by Spielman, do a nice sidestep. Waiting there is Mark Pelini to catch him, but not until after he'd gained 13 yards. Kevin Harmon already 113 yards on 10 rushes and 1 TD. Of course, the bulk of that yardage coming on a big 50-yard burst for the touchdown.
1st and 10 for Hartlieb and the Hawkeyes. This is Hudson rolling ahead to the 43 of Ohio State. He advanced it for 5. 2nd and 5 coming up. Showalter halted Hudson on that play. Under 6 minutes left, first half.
Hawkeyes, of course, showing you their versatility. They're basically a team that likes to throw the football, but they've discovered that they can run the football thus far here in the latter stages of this quarter. And after Harmon's big run, are almost exclusively staying to the ground attack now.
Forward pitch to Harmon, who juggled it, hung on, and squirmed out about a yard, and that's it. That will leave Iowa 3 yards shy at the 41.
I has shown this shovel pass once before with Harmon at the other position, the left half position. This time it's from the right running back position. Not much place for him to run right in there. Eisenman in there, along with a few other Buckeyes. Kachersky getting a piece of Harmon on that play, too.
2 tight ends, 2 wideouts. 3rd down, Iowa needs 3. Hartlieb to go up top for it. Sideline pass complete to Cook inside the 30. 1st down, Iowa.
Excellent pattern run by big number 84, Marv Cook. Chris Spielman, number 36, was covering him all the way. He took Spielman all the way down, straight down the field in the middle, made a break to the inside, then broke outside, and Hartlieb sharply threw the football, and he's wide open right there. As you can see, Spielman finally coming in to bounce him out of bounds.
That was a 3rd down, a little less than 3 yards. Iowa successfully passing for the 1st down.
They have great confidence in their 3rd down possession plays.
Boy, they sure do. Pitch sweep to the left. Rick Bayless carried it ahead for 3 yards on the play. Bayless with only 26 rushes on the season coming into the game. He's been injured most of the year. And he advanced it for 3 yards. Tackle made on that play by Ohio State's Mark Pelini. Chris Spielman assisted. 2nd down and at least 7.
Jack Bayless came into the 1987 season as number 1 on the depth chart for Iowa, and actually Kevin Harmon was his backup, but he was injured, and Harmon really has flourished during his injury, and so it's kind of hard to get Harmon out of there now.
Harmon is caught at the 25, lunge to the 24. Hayden Fry's offense now confronted with 3rd and 5. Andrew Gerd clipped the ball carrier.
From the I formation, Harmon picking his way. Derek Eisman forces him into Gerd's hands, and Gerd makes a nice tackle. Harmon, again, as I mentioned before, a difficult man to tackle because he's an elusive target.
3rd down for Iowa, about 5. Hawkeyes must reach the 19 for a 1st down. Hartlieb is being pressured, arches it to the end zone. It is too far. William White with thorough coverage on the intended receiver, Travis Watkins. Hayden Fry says, might there have been interference, Mr. Official?
Well, Hayden's over on the sidelines, and he's looking at it with sunglasses. I don't know whether that has an effect on it. Buckeyes lining up and coming out there with the all-out blitz, but Iowa does a great job of picking it up. Finally, McCray gets loose there. Hartlieb looks first to the right to Harberts, but then throws back to the left over where Travis Watkins was. But the Buckeyes secondary had great coverage. The 2 quarterbacks that time, William White and Zach Dumas, did a great job.
41-yard field goal try by Houghton is there, and it is 14-12. The Buckeyes lead has been cut to 2. Houghton now 18 for 26 on the year in the field goal department. He's only missed 3 from inside the 50.
I'll tell you, Houghton is a guy who is just like automatic. Anytime, as we said before, the ball is placed down for a point after touchdown or a field goal, you can just about count it as good because he just doesn't miss.
Buckeyes got a dose of that last week in Gregory for Wisconsin.
Well, they've faced 2 of the finest kickers really in the conference in the last 2 weeks.
Hayden Fry checking with Hartlieb. What might that discussion be about, Paul?
Well, I don't think that Hayden really could fault Hartlieb on that last call. Buckeyes showed all-out blitz, and that's what you'd like to see. Iowa did a great job of picking up the blitzers. Finally, Mike McCray came free at the last second. Here's your scoring drive right there with a 41-yard field goal by Hartlieb to make the, by Houghton to make the score 14-12 in favor of Ohio State. I don't think that the Iowa receivers did a good job of getting open, but by the same token, I think the Buckeye quarterbacks did a magnificent job having to play those 2 receivers all over the field with no help in a bump and run situation to keep them off the scoreboard.
So Houghton prepares to kick off for Iowa, and his boots have been on the short side so far today, Paul. What is the strategy, do you think, that Iowa's employing there?
Well, I think they would like for him to kick that ball as deep as he possibly can. He just doesn't have that great a leg on kickoffs. He's a fine placement and field goal kicker, but it's been a great advantage for Ohio State to set up their offense because they're usually it up around the 30.
Vince Workman from the 17 has an avenue and streaks out to the 40. A flag flies.
Vince Workman returns the kickoff. The tackle is made by Marshall Cotton. Flag on the play.
Tackle made by Iowa's Cotton. Penalty marker down. Let's see who it is against. Illegal use of hands against Ohio State.
Really hurts you. And it's hurt Ohio State the last 2 times that they've started their offense because they have gotten the ball beyond the 30-yard line. And that time, Workman had an excellent return almost up to the 40-yard line. And they lose a little distance, although they're back at about the 31.5, but they could be at least, further downfield. So, those little mistakes like that can really hurt your offense and push you back further in your own territory.
Buckeyes have 3 minutes, 8 seconds with which to work here in the second quarter. 2 timeouts left for OSU. First and 10 from the 31.5. Tom Tupa still has it. Open receiver Workman. He's got a first down with about 3 yards to spare out to the 45. Merton Hanks wrapped up Workman, who freed himself long enough for Tupa to get it to him.
Tom Tupa on the bootleg action right here will go back to Workman running a out pattern off of the motion, and Workman tackled very quickly right by Hanks, number 45, the cornerback. Tupa again being very sharp with his passing here in the first half with the exception of the 1 interception.
George Cooper trudges ahead for about 5 to the 48. Maybe not quite 5. Brad Quast stymied the play. He was assisted by Dave Hates. Pickup of about 4, second down and 6. Clock is running down to 2:20 to go in the first half.
Buckeyes have plenty of time to move the ball downfield, and they have, I believe, at least 2 timeouts remaining, so they've got a lot in their favor right here.
Hawkeyes have employed the nickel coverage. Tupa to throw into it. Ross is open. Nice catch inside the 25, and he got out of bounds to stop the clock. Dwight Sistrunk from Dayton, Ohio, is chasing Ross. He picked it off on the dead run.
Actually, Tom Tupa could have thrown this ball a little bit earlier, and he throws a little bit late right here. And number 22, Dwight Sistrunk, has an idea, and he almost gets to the ball. But fortunate, as you see Sistrunk right there, number 22, he pulls up for some reason. It looked like he had an opportunity to break on that ball, but a big catch by Everett Ross, who is off to a great start here in the first half with 113 yards, 2 TDs on 3 receptions.
First and 10 Buckeyes. This is Snow, and he meets a stone wall at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Down to 1:50 in the half. Joe Schuster brought a halt to that play, Paul.
Snow started to go down even before he met resistance from Schuster. Again, going to his right. He is cutting off the inside foot, the left foot, and he is losing balance and going down because he's trying to make a very sharp and radical cut.
Clock winding down, under 1.5 minutes to go. First half. 2 tight ends are in there for Ohio State. 2nd and 9. This is Snow. He's got a hole. He coughs up the football. There's a scramble for it. Who got it at the 20? Clock stops at 1:10. Gil Marchman still undecided as to whose possession it is. Hawkeyes have it. And that brings an end to the Ohio State threat.
Well, that kind of hurts. Ohio State really did an outstanding job of moving the ball downfield. As we've said before, Iowa's defense is rated right near the top of the Big Ten, only behind Michigan State, and that was a good drive put together by Tom Tupa and the offensive unit. Tough luck for the Buckeyes.
So now Hayden Fry and the Hawkeye offense will attempt to work the clock. 1:10 to go. All 3 timeouts remaining. Draw play. This is Bayless diving up ahead to the 30. He needed to reach the 30 for a first down. Ray Jackson and Mike Sullivan cut the legs out from under the Iowa ball carrier.
Good call in this situation from the end zone shot. Iowa passing team going from a passing formation. Good block by Hudson as Bayless swings around the block. Ray Jackson makes the stop along with Sullivan.
This is Hartlieb, open receiver. Travis Watkins gets out of bounds at the 46, stopping the clock at 33 seconds. Spielman flushed into the sideline. First down, Hawkeyes.
The most impressive thing about Hartlieb, and he's been compared to Chuck Long, who was here a few years ago, now playing in the pros, but Hartlieb has much more mobility than Long had, and he has the capability of getting out of the pocket and throwing accurately to receivers, breaking their patterns. And so what's been impressive about Chuck Hartlieb is his ability to elude tacklers back in the pocket.
Hartlieb down the middle. Cook, the tight end at the 28. He's rolled down by Andrew Gerd. Another first down, Hawks. 26 seconds to go, first half.
Buckeyes have been gambling a little bit with the tight end and covering him with Spielman and Gerd, but this guy is much too agile and too good an athlete. They're going to have to go with one of their rovers, the defensive backs, on the tight end because Iowa will throw to the tight end in any situation. Marv Cook making a big catch right there. Iowa almost down in the field goal position, perhaps needing another 15 yards or so, and they will be in the range of a field goal.
The Hawkeyes have used a timeout. Iowa still has 2 remaining.
26 seconds remaining on the clock, Jack, and certainly that's worth at least 3 plays, perhaps. And Iowa trying to figure out on the sidelines how they can get it in the end zone. They know that they can depend on their field goal kicker, but they would like to go in for the big 6-pointer.
With 2 timeouts left, do you chance perhaps a draw? Can you chance a running play, do you think?
Well, you certainly could chance a running play, and they've run the draw play a couple of times in situations. They got 26 seconds. They've got 2 timeouts. You certainly could gamble with a draw in this situation.
And then stop the clock with a timeout if you felt you had to do so. Hartlieb aims for Cook too high. Cook was slanting toward the sideline inside the 25. Andrew Gerd was in coverage for Ohio State. That play took 4 seconds and leaves 22 on the clock.
First time today we've really seen Hartlieb miss badly, but one of the reasons why he missed that pass so badly is because he was bounced to the turf by Eric Kummerow, who was right in his face. He had to deal that football immediately, or else he would have been thrown for a sack or a loss.
Hartlieb completing 68% of his passes coming into this game today. Second down and 10. It's Cook inside the 10, and he charges to the 5. The clock is stopped as the first down chain is advanced. Now Iowa signals timeout.
Hartlieb is very, very impressive. As we stated before, he gets good protection, but he sets up very sharply, has a relatively quick release, and throws the football extremely accurately. This time throwing it in between 2 Buckeye defenders. That's threading the needle for you. Right into Cook's hands. Right there, number 21, Zach Dumas making the stop, getting some help from Mark Pelini. Also 49, Andrew Gerd. But The stop occurs. The ball is now just a little bit outside of the 10-yard line. Iowa and Hartlieb over on the sidelines with Coach Hayden Fry, the guy there in the dark sunglasses, discussing what they're going to do. They've got 14 seconds, Jack, on the clock. Perhaps they can squeeze off 2 more passes, perhaps.
It's often been said, Paul, that down in this part of the field with such little room to work, it's difficult to pass the football. But because Iowa's tight ends are so good at receiving the football, I don't think it really hurts the Hawkeyes that much.
Well, Iowa works a lot on the passing game, and I'm sure that down in this area of the field in their practice sessions, that they work to throw the ball to the outsides. I think that you'll see them try to go to the outside to one of the wide receivers.
Hartlieb zips it to the 2. It's no good. As he threw a bullet, Ray Jackson broke it up. Watkins, the intended receiver. 5 seconds, clicked off, down to 9. Iowa has a timeout remaining. And this might very well be their last play before they have to kick 3.
Well, the Hawkeyes probably will have this as the final play. Throwing the football, they'll have to be careful if they do elect to throw it over the middle.
Watkins, an early flank far left. Movement along the line of scrimmage. First indication is that the Hawkeyes are guilty of an infraction. Well, penalty waved off. Timeout was called by Iowa, perhaps, before the snap from center.
Chuck Hartlieb raised up to signal for the timeout. Buckeyes initiated the charge, but the officials ruled that Iowa is not going to be penalized for that action because apparently his hands were not underneath center. Hawkeyes utilized their final timeout in that situation. They can. All right, you see Chuck Hartlieb raise up right there and give the signal for the timeout. The Buckeyes reacting to that movement right there, but no penalty or infraction occurred as by the officials.
Well, without the timeout left, they've all been exhausted for Iowa. The Hawkeyes must make sure that if they try one more play, it goes all the way into the end zone. Because they
got to go in the end zone, or it has to be an incompleted pass. Otherwise, time will expire on them. And Hartley cannot waste a lot of time looking for a receiver back there, because one thing for sure, they want to get the three-pointer.
Two receivers to the left. One is out of your picture to the bottom of the screen. Hartlieb throwing the fade pattern too far for Early. He can't catch up to it. William White was pursuing the receiver.
Well, they had it. The one objection or criticism that I don't have is that Hartlieb threw that one a little bit too flat. Should have put a little more loft and touch up on it. He did not give Early a chance really to run under. That pass has to be floated out there a little bit to allow the receiver to run under it. The receiver is running towards the far corner or the flag.
A 22-yard field goal try by Houtland. He is 8 for 8 this year inside 30 yards, and this one is on the money. Time expires with that kick. The first half here at Ohio Stadium has come to a close. Our halftime score, Iowa 15, Ohio State 14. We'll be back with more Ohio State football in a moment.
This ice may not look it, but it's at least 10,000 years old. A team of polar researchers drilled more than 450 feet into the Dunda ice cap in remote western China to recover the ice core. The expedition is the latest in a decade for scientists at the Byrd Polar Research Center at Ohio State University. Ohio State professor Lonnie Thompson led the American portion of the joint U.S.-Chinese expedition.
What we're interested in is getting a record of past volcanic events, droughts, variations in past temperatures through the isotope analysis on ice cores, variations in past precipitation rates for part of the world where these records do not exist.
The ultimate goal of the ice core research is to piece together a record of climate and environmental variations from sites all over the world. These researchers went to China hoping to recover a 3,000-year-long record. What they found was the oldest ice ever recovered from a non-polar region, a record at least 10,000 years old, going back to the last ice age. Thompson says it's an exciting discovery that could provide information about an event no one's been able to study.
The ice core contains visible dust layers. You can see the transition into the last ice age, very dramatic increase in dust. But also in the ice core, we have gas bubbles, air trapped at the time the snow fell 10,000 years ago. And by taking these cores and extracting that gas, we can look at such things as variation in methane, variation in CO2 in the Earth's atmosphere, long before man had any impact.
The team brought the ice back to Columbus in two forms, frozen and in water samples. Thompson says analysis of the ice cap can provide clues about the future and about the past. But what's so fascinating about this find is that it comes from China, where there are detailed historical records nearly as old as the ice core.
Records of freezing of lakes, crop failures, floods and droughts, going back 5,000 years in China. And we hope to work closely with people who are developing these historical records to correlate what we're finding in this very detailed ice core record with what man recorded in that part of the world. And this will be the first linkage, direct linkage, of the ice core climate record to actual observations over long periods of time.
Thompson and other polar researchers hope to continue their study of global weather patterns with a trip to another Chinese glacier. From The Ohio State University, this is Amy Murray reporting.
It's halftime here at Ohio Stadium. Our score is Iowa 15 and Ohio State 14. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jack Kramer along with Paul Warfield here at Ohio Stadium. It's been an exciting first half, some big plays, 3 touchdowns so far, Paul. Buckeyes have scored 2 of them on long passing connections between Tupa and Everett Ross. Big plays for the Bucks.
Big plays really started with Everett Ross and the Buckeyes. Buckeyes strike first here with Everett Ross, 25-yarder. Tom Tupa zeroes right on Ross, breaking across the middle. Ross eluding one tackler right there. 45 Hanks reaches for Ross, pulls him down, but however, Ross breaks the plane for a 25-yarder, and the Buckeyes are on the scoreboard. All right, this is Tom Tupa on a straight drop back action, and this is the big one. Tupa looking back to the right will throw to Everett Ross, who catches the ball in between 2 Iowa defenders. Ross will elude Sistrunk right here at this point. Now watch him do this pirouette right here out of the grasp of number 3, Burt. From that point on, it's Everett Ross all the way 60 yards for the touchdown, and the Buckeyes are up at that point in the ball game. Now Iowa gets back into the ball game with this run right here by Kevin Harmon. Good running. Look at that sidestep on Chris Spielman right there. Loses balance for a moment, regains it. Now he just eludes the 2 Buckeye defenders, Ray Jackson, 47, David Brown, number 27, who are going after him. Harmon speeds all the way into the end zone, making the score at that point 14-9. Iowa's not good on the extra point. However, it's 15-14. Iowa regained the lead in the ball game. And as we look at the stats right there, Iowa total yards 304, Buckeyes 193. However, Ohio State has taken advantage of a few Iowa mistakes, and the Buckeyes have been playing well offensively and defensively, Jack, in this ball game.
Statistically speaking, at the quarterback position, Hartlieb has thrown for a few more yards, 162 to 147. Tupa a little better throwing percentage, 7 of 10. Each quarterback has thrown an interception. Tupa with 2 touchdown passes in the first half of this game. 2 beauties to Everett Ross, and you saw them just a moment ago. Stadium is sunlit here at Columbus today. Great afternoon for football. Quite a change from recent weeks when we've seen a lot of the wet stuff. Buckeyes receive the football to start the game and will kick off to launch the second half. Ohio State once held a 14-3 lead in this game. Hawkeyes have come back with 12 unanswered points. Here's Amora's boot to start the third quarter. And he drives it to Marciano 2 yards deep. He kneels down, and Iowa will begin third quarter action from the 20, 1st and 10.
The attendance at this afternoon's game, 90,090. 90090.
This Iowa offensive unit, Paul, began the day running the ball rather effectively, then went to the pass in the second quarter with great success. Marv Cook was on the receiving end of most of those.
Well, they've shown their versatility, and passing, as we said, coming into this ball game was their strong suit, but they demonstrated in the first half that they can run.
Hartlieb with time. Now he's being chased. Delivers in the flat. No good. Intended for Dave Hudson, who was the outlet man to the right. Pretty good job by the Ohio State secondary, Paul, as they covered up well. Hartlieb had time, but just couldn't find anybody available.
Well, the Buckeye front three demonstrated and exerted some pressure on Hartlieb also, as they forced him to move up into the pocket and then throw the ball hurriedly out into flat to Hudson.
2nd and 10. Hartlieb aims down the middle. Wide open. Watkins to the 41. 21-yard strike through the air. Hartlieb to Travis Watkins. Tackled by Zach Dumas.
Travis Watkins, who is the starting split end, was wide open on this play. Hartlieb scanning the field right now and will turn to his right and deal the ball to Watkins. As you see, there's absolutely no one around him when he catches the football. He runs away from Spillman. Zach Dumas, 21, coming up, and then Eric Kummerow also assisting on that tackle.
This is Harmon looking for a hole, and a nice forward for 4, maybe 5. Mike Sullivan and Ray Holloman sandwiched the Iowa ball carrier. 2nd down, about 6. We've played a little less than 1 minute. Third quarter. Iowa leads by a point, 15-14. $90,090 on hand here at Ohio Stadium today, the 5th largest crowd ever at Ohio Stadium. Hartlieb zips it high for Cook at the 35. Pelini in the vicinity for Ohio State. And the Hawkeyes and quarterback Chuck Hartlieb are now confronted with 3rd and about 6.
They have been awfully good, as you mentioned earlier, Jack, in third down possession situation. The Buckeyes will have to meet the challenge here. Iowa moving the football. Bucks want to stop them here on this opening drive so that they can get their hands back on the football.
Split backs, receivers left and right, each flanked about 7 yards. Buckeyes with 10 men up on the line of scrimmage. They're blitzing Hartlieb. Pass deflected, and it falls harmlessly incomplete at the 40. Ray Holloman put a lot of pressure on Hartlieb.
The pressure worked to perfection in that situation. On the sidelines, we see number 15, Fry, warming up. Perhaps he may see some action in the second half, but that time Hartlieb had Quinn Early open in that blitz situation, and he could have hit him for all of the marbles.
The punt by Cook, taken by Ross at the 13. He finds a crease, back out to the 29. Good kick by Cook, but an even better return by Ross. Buckeyes have good field position, just short of the 30. And although we saw Greg Fry warming up, Tom Tupa will get the starting call here in the third quarter. Tupa 7 of 10 in that first half. Buckeyes employ 2 tight ends on their first offensive effort here in the third quarter. Carlos Snow looking for an avenue. Snow danced ahead for about 2 or 3. J.J. Puck met him. Ellis last week. 79 yards, 17 carries. He has not generated that kind of production so far today, though. Snow again. He nudged forward for maybe 2. Third down, a little over 5 to go for a first down. Burke and Schuster tackled Snow on the play, who's lugged it 11 times. Only has 25 yards to show for those 11 carries. A lot of credit to the Iowa defense, though.
Very tough against the run, as we stated before, and they just give up that yardage very grudgingly.
A little less than 5 yards to go for a first down. Buckeyes must get just short of the 40. Tupa wants to pass for it. Very wide of the mark, intended for Ellis, and Ohio State must punt the pigskin.
Not much room in the flat for Tom Tupa to throw the football to Ellis. Additionally, Tupa had number 77, Myron Kepi, in his face, and he delivered the football very hurriedly, not on target. So Iowa's defense does its job, forcing Ohio State to punt the football back over to them. Marciano will be looking into a very, very bright sun. Tom Tupa, 4 punts, 43.8-yard average. Long punt today, 50 yards.
Tupa punting to Marciano. Hawkeyes have a return on. A tremendous kick by Tupa. It hits inside the 5 and hops into the end zone. Hawkeyes will start from the 21st and 10 with 12 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the third quarter. So 2 possessions, 1 for each team here at the outset of the second half, and 2 punts. Iowa head coach Hayden Fry has had head coaching stints at SMU before coming to Iowa, also at North Texas State.
Never before, however, has been successful here in Ohio Stadium, wherever he's been. He brought a ball club in here, but right now he has a 1-point lead and seeking to improve on it.
Penalty marker before the snap from center. That play was halted before it got started. Spielman and Sullivan were in there on the tackle. Procedure call against the Hawkeyes will cost them 5.
Buckeye coach Randy Hart right there shouting some encouraging words out to the Buckeye defense. Randy Hart in the cap right there.
Iowa can get a first down at the 30. It'll be 1st and 15 when play resumes. Hasn't Hayden Fry received the nickname, what, the Fox over the years or something like that, Paul? What's that stem from?
Well, he always has some interesting things offensively, a few gadgets, a few tricks. He was asked that just the other day by a local TV man, and he says, well, I always try to have a couple of tricks for the opposition, but he says the trick here is winning.
Tough trick to pull off at Ohio Stadium.
Yeah.
I don't think the Hawkeyes have had any tricks up their sleeves so far. It's been the basic Iowa offense, although maybe here in this half, that's what Iowa will have to try and pull off in order to win this football game. Buckeyes are playing them very tough.
Well, the Hawkeyes would never be confused or with being a conservative offensive football team. They throw the football any spot on the field. They do a lot of interesting things offensively, but they make them work.
A lot of different formations. Draw play back to the line of scrimmage, and that's where the ball carrier slides down on his fanny. No gain. Fred Ritter covered up the play. Holloman was there.
Kevin Harmon trying from the I formation to make one of these exciting cuts, and again, he that time cut off that inside foot, put it down, and tried to cut left quickly, and going back to this thought of defying gravity. You just can't do it.
2nd and 15. Buckeye defense has halted Hartlieb last few times he's thrown it, Paul.
Yes, they have done a good job. He's just 2 of 8 in the last 8 passes.
He's throwing here. He needs 15 yards. Open receivers belted. Short of a first down at the 29. As Pelini put a jolt into Travis Watkins, who came up a yard short.
Hartlieb again rolling, this time to his right, will look right, and then look back left to find Watkins. Coming across the field, Pelini will come up from his safety position and give Watkins a very hard tackle and bring him down.
3rd down and 1. Iowa must get to the 30 for a first down. Harmon over left tackle's got it to the 32. Cumro latched on to him, but not before he picked up a couple yards. First down, Hawkeyes.
Gain of 3 yards, first down, Iowa. NCAA scores at the half, Missouri 3.
10 minutes, 39 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Hawkeyes nursing a 1-point lead. 15-14. Now the Hawkeyes flash 3 wide receivers and split the tight end a couple yards. Pass for the tight end complete, then knocked loose. Who's got it? It's ruled a completed pass and a fumble. Fred Ritter comes up with it. Ohio State football. Defense forces a turnover.
As we said before, Iowa will not hesitate to throw the football to its tight ends. This time it's backup tight end number 86, Mike Flagg, catches the ball in between the zone, but he is wrapped real hard by William White. The ball pops out, and Fred Ritter alertly will pounce on the football, giving the ball back to the Buckeyes.
Tom Tupa hits the receiver across the 50. Workman to the Iowa 45. First down on the 14-yard gainer.
This Workman, who's got a couple of passes today, this time shows you some halfback moves as he will run a simple hook pattern, hooking up into zone. Watch him elude the tackler, spin around, now go back upfield. That's good feel and instinct by Vince, who is a running back by trade, but of course a few weeks ago made the conversion to wide receiver.
Second clock down to 10. Carlos Snow being strung out, trying to turn the corner, perhaps picked up 4 to the 41. Dwight Sistrunk made the play for Iowa. He was assisted by Brad Quast.
Carlos Snow due to go up inside is all jammed up, so he uses his quickness to get outside, but the pursuing Iowa defense strings the ball out, and the support comes from up and inside from Brad Quast, the linebacker, and Snow gets some yardage, about 4 on the play.
Buckeyes must advance the ball inside the 35 for a first down. George Cooper twisting to the 38. He's at least 3 shy of first down yardage, perhaps 4. Dave Haight and J.J. Puck paired up to make the tackle. Iowa player shaken up. Clock stops at 8:55. Hayden Fry coming out to check himself on Joe Schuster. Iowa leads by a point, 15-14, as we approach the midway spot, 3rd quarter. Ohio State pass offense, Paul, the last 2 weeks, including the Wisconsin game a week ago, and this one today, has been much more effective, more consistent. Tupa with a fine first half last week, 13 for 17, and throwing for a high percentage today.
Well, key words that you said, Jack, the Ohio State offense, particularly the pass offense, but the offense as a whole has started to show some more consistency, but only in the first half. This team has not been a strong second-half team offensively all year long. Buckeyes really need to show in this ball game, which would be a good time to get something going in the second half.
Buckeyes ineffective today in converting first downs on third down.
Only one out of 6. That's not very good. Not a very good average. Buckeyes
need 4 yards here. Catch is made, first down. Jay Cook got to the 34. It appears as though he picked up about 5 and gained the first down with a half yard to spare.
Jay Cook from a tight alignment right next to his tackle from the left lower part of your screen takes an inside release and will hook up in between the 2 inside linebackers of Iowa and get the necessary yardage in between Brad Quest and also J.J. Puck and makes the catch for the first down. The Buckeyes are moving the football.
2 tight ends, wide out, split left and right. Lone setback is Cooper. George hammers over left guard for maybe 2 or 3. From the 31, it will be second down and about 7. Joe Mott, defensive end for the Hawkeyes, plugged up the hole. These 2 teams have moved the football today, but the defenses have been able to force turnovers and stop drives. Cook, the man in motion. Snow behind his block. Gets to the 25 or 6. Buckeyes will need 2 yards on this third down play coming up.
That time it looked like a hole appeared in the right side of the Iowa line, but it closed very quickly as Carlos Snow got up into the hole, and it's now a third down and short yardage situation.
As we approach the 7-minute mark, third quarter, 15-14, Iowa leads by a point. Cook in motion across the formation. Snow has a hole. He gets to the 23. He appears to have picked it up. Dwight Sistrunk closed down that play in a hurry, but not before Snow gained about 3 yards.
From the end zone in I formation, Snow starts skimming to the outside, trying to use his speed and quickness, getting a block right there from, it looks like Everett Ross uses every bit of real estate just to pick up that 2 yards for a first down for the Buckeyes.
Line of scrimmage outside the 23 for Tupa and company. George Cooper has a hole. Cooper staggered to the 20. He advanced it for 3, second down 7. Dave Haight was in his path.
Again, the Iowa defense showing that they're very, very difficult to run against, just limiting very short yardage on first down, making it very tough for Ohio State to move this football on the ground.
Workman splits far right. Ross flanks 7 yards left. Out of your picture to the bottom of the screen. 2 tight ends are in there. Short drop by Tupa through the hands of Ross. As Tupa shot a bullet that Ross couldn't bring down, and it's 3rd and 7.
The ball didn't really need to be thrown that hard, that short a distance. Particularly a pass that Tom Tupa could have used a touch on. It's designed as a hitch pass right off the line of scrimmage. Ball thrown pretty hard and pretty difficult for Everett Ross to adjust to, and also is thrown in a spot on the field with his right sunlight.
Buckeyes must get to the 13 for a first down. Tupa delivers. It's a touchdown. Jeff Ellis.
Tupa a lot of credit. He held his football, waited for Jeff Ellis to get open, and he'll be wrapped real hard by 77 Kempy and also 5 Mike Burke, but he hits Jeff Ellis right there at the corner of the end zone for a touchdown.
extra point try by France is on the money. And the Buckeyes have a 6-point lead, 21-15. Boy, did Tupa show a lot of poise, Paul.
He stayed in the pocket and waited until the very last moment. His feet get a little bit nervous, as you see right there. He starts to tap dance a little bit because he senses that he needs to throw the football, but he's waiting and waiting. Finally, Jeff Ellis does come open right there at the corner, then hits him right at the corner of the end zone for the 6-pointer. Tom Tupa here. As you see, number 5, Burke coming from his position will apply pressure and hit Tupa along with 77, Myron Kepi. But Tupa waits until the last second, deals the ball to Jeff Ellis for the 6-pointer.
Hayden Fry's Hawkeyes on the short end of a 21-15 score. Buckeyes lead is 6 with the extra point by France. 4-minute drive by the Bucks, needing 10 plays. And Tupa hooked up with Ellis on the touchdown strike. The south half of Ohio Stadium now in shade, and the north half sunlit still. Who's got the football at the 22? Iowa recovers. Iseman put a hit on the return man. Stewart coughed it up, rolled over on top of the pigskin. Iowa retains possession.
Tony Stewart receives this ball at about the 3-yard line, comes right up the middle of the field. He will be hit on the right arm where he's carrying the ball by Derek Iseman. The ball pops loose, but it doesn't quite get to the ground as it stays within reach of Stewart. Stewart manages to hold on to it. Could have been a big break for the Buckeyes.
Hawkeyes down by 6. This is Harmon. He's got a gaping hole, and he surges out to the 37 or 8-yard line. Andrew Gerd from Chagrin Falls, Ohio, made the tackle. William White from Lima assisted.
15 yards, first down, Hawkeyes.
Kevin Harmon just doesn't give the Buckeye fans a chance to relax. Here he is following their big guard, going through a gaping hole in the Ohio State line and getting downfield up to about Iowa's 37-yard line. Big play for Iowa as they have the ball out in good operating position.
Hartlieb is in trouble. He lobs it errantly at the 45. Mike Flagg was in the vicinity, but there's no way he could catch up to that one.
Well, that bootleg action by Hartlieb did not fool Eric Cumrow, number 14, at all, as he'll chase Hartlieb. Hartlieb will back up, then lost a high pass, punch pass, trying to hit Flagg, but Flagg was covered very well on the play.
Fine pressure applied by Cumrow on that play for Ohio State. Hartlieb, 224 yards throwing, but the Hawkeyes have netted just 1 touchdown. Screen pass to the right. This is Hudson. Gets a block, stumbles, tackle made short of a first down. Fred Ritter knifed him to the turf. Mike Sullivan teamed up with Ritter. 3rd down coming up, and close to 4 yards to go.
The Buckeyes did a good job of defending that screen pass. Iowa did a real nice job of setting it up as Hartlieb really sold the play, making it look like Iowa wanted to go vertically downfield on the pass, then dump the ball off to Hudson, but the Buckeye defenders did a nice job of stopping the play before it got started.
Ohio State defense digs in. 3rd and 4 for the Hawkeyes. Play clock down to 2. Hartlieb just got the snap away. He is sacked back at the 30. Iseman and Cumrow blew in the air to swamp the quarterback.
Iseman and Cumrow did swamp him, but you can credit Ray Jackson, number 47, who has 4 sacks on the year already. He was the guy who came in right there and forced Hartlieb to pull up and look for a place to run.
It's an end-over-end punt. Takes an Iowa roll. Ross lets it go. Iowa touches it down at the 24. Cook's punt was touched down by Sistrunk. And the Buckeyes have the football at their own 24-yard line, leading 21-15. Buckeyes trying to drum up some more points here, Paul.
Buckeyes moved the ball very well on their last possession, took it downfield, got the points on the scoreboard. That's exactly the same thing that they need to do again in this series.
From the robust tee, Mitch Workman is collared just across the line of scrimmage. J.J. Puck on the tackle. Everett Ross coming in with the play. Well, since Tupa's last interception, Paul, he has been on the mark, to say the least.
He's been 8 of 10 for 153 yards, and that's good consistency. Nothing wrong with that at all, and that's one of the reasons why Ohio State is moving the football well here thus far in the second half.
3.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Tupa pitching to Snow. Snow plunges to the 28. He's a good 6 yards short of a first down. Mike Burke and Anthony Wright on the tackle. Buckeyes have third down and plenty coming up. They need at least 5 or 6 yards.
The Buckeyes electing to go with the option play. First time we saw it today on that particular play. Iowa, superbly coached football team, doesn't seem to be surprised by anything that Ohio State does. Was in good position to stop that play.
Buckeyes can get a first down at the 34. The line of scrimmage is the 28. Tupa may elect to go all the way with it. Now he shoots it behind Ross. Dwight Sistrunk covered. Tupa had an avenue ahead of him. It looked like he could have scampered for the first down.
He never saw Everett Ross. Everett Ross was open from the moment that he released from the line of scrimmage. At the last second, as Tom Tupa had practically made up his mind that he was going to run the football, he saw Everett Ross and tried to throw suddenly and couldn't get the ball to him.
So Tupa, who misfired with his right arm, will try to boot the Buckeyes out of trouble with that right leg of his. His longest 65 on the day. Has a slight wind at his back out of the south. And he drills it to Marciano at the 18. Good coverage. From the 25, Iowa will start first and 10. Sean Bell from Middletown raced downfield to make the hit. As Tupa smacked another long one. 2:28 to go in the third quarter. Buckeyes lead by 6, 21-15. Do you think there was a possibility, Paul, a few minutes ago the Buckeyes might go for 2 following the touchdown?
Well, there's always that possibility with the 2-point play in college football, but the Buckeyes elected to go for the short 1-pointer.
This is Harmon springing it to the outside. Thrown down over there by Spielman after recording a 3-yard advance. Zach Dumas teamed up with Chris. Had it been the fourth quarter, Paul, the Buckeyes might have gone for 2. It's not quite crunch time yet. You get your 7 until it becomes crunch time. And then if you got to go for 8, you make the decision then.
Well, those are not necessarily easy decisions to make at any time, whether they're in the first quarter or in the last quarter.
Second down and 6 for Iowa. Pitch sweep to the right. Harmon is coming, cutting back, squirming to the 35. Very close to a first down. Eric Cumrow tripped him up.
Buckeyes employ very interesting strategy. At different periods during the course of this ball game, they rely a little bit more on the run. Then you'll see them go back to the pass. Now they're in seemingly their run phase again, where they're going back to the run in an attempt to gain some consistency back in their offensive attack, believing that they can move the ball on the ground.
Hawkeyes averaged over 250 yards a game through the air. Their average much better than that in the Big Ten. Cumro wraps up the ball carrier, who does register a first down. Sullivan was also there, but Hudson trudged ahead for a couple. First down, Hawkeyes at the 37. 1 minute left in the third quarter. 21-15 Ohio State. Buckeye defensive units had a fine season. Fourth in the Big Ten in total defense, third in scoring, third against the rush. Trying to stop the pass on this play. Cumro chasing the quarterback, who got the screen away, but it was dropped by Harmon. Buckeyes consistently putting pressure on Hartlieb.
Well, I believe that Iowa wanted to allow Buckeyes to exert some pressure, but not quite as much as Eric Cumro was putting on the quarterback that time. And as a result, Hartlieb got the ball out to Harmon, but it was dealt out to him low, and Harmon couldn't make the catch.
Hartlieb and the Hawkeyes passed at will last week against Northwestern, but this is not the Northwestern defense Iowa's facing today.
Big difference between Northwestern's defense and, of course, the Buckeye defense.
2nd and 10. Hartlieb zips it. No good. Intended for Watkins. But it was way off target, and it's third down coming up. Possession play. 32 seconds left, third quarter.
First time all day that I've seen Hartlieb really miss a receiver downfield. No pressure on him on that particular play at all, and he just didn't come close to making a connection with Travis Watkins on that pass attempt.
Chris Spielman has totaled 11 tackles today for Ohio State, and of course Chris is the all-time career leader in the solo tackle department at Ohio State. He surpassed Kuzno last week. Hartlieb throws back across field, no good. He missed Watkins by several yards again, and Iowa's got to kick the football.
A lot of pressure put on Hartlieb that time by the Buckeye defensive 11. Buckeyes were blitzing, sending players after him. Hartlieb tried to avert the blitz by moving to the left with a moving pocket strategy, but the pressure was coming. Hartlieb then stopped, tried to turn and throw back, and was way off the mark.
Ross at his 22 to take the punt from Cook. It hangs up there. Everett has some room, but decides to fair catch it at the 22. 19 seconds to go, third quarter, following that kick by Cook. Very important series for Ohio State as well as Iowa, because if the Buckeyes can get any points on the board in this drive, it would mean Iowa would have to get 2 scores in the fourth quarter to pull this game out. Tom Tupa still has the football. Jeff Ellis is knocked down at the 34, but it's a first down. Ross was covered up deep, but Ellis was available short.
Pretty good coverage by the deep defenders on the wide receivers, but Jeff Ellis coming underneath on that pattern. Tom Tupa simply waits for him to come and free himself in between defenders and pinpoints him right there over by the right sideline. Big Jeff Ellis, 6'4", 241 pounds, a freshman playing very well in place of the injured Alex Higdon, who sustained a serious laceration on his hand in last weekend's ball game against Wisconsin.
That first down pass play closes out the third quarter here at Ohio Stadium. Fans on their feet after 3 periods. Buckeyes 21, Hawkeyes 15. We'll return with more Ohio State football in a moment.
Every quarter hour, the chimes ring from the tower of Orton Hall, symbol and tradition of The Ohio State University. From accounting to zoology, the alphabet of academics is unmatched anywhere, with more than 74 courses offered in more than 200 majors. But we strive for even more. The Ohio State University has launched the largest campaign for private support in the history of public higher education to ensure a standard of excellence for others to follow.
It's the fourth quarter of Ohio State football. This is Jack Kramer with Paul Warfield at Ohio Stadium in Columbus. An exciting game. The Buckeyes lead Iowa by 6. We're seconds away from the start of the final 15 minutes. Buckeyes in possession, first down at the 34.
Buckeyes play very well in the third quarter offensively, and they need this trend to carry on, certainly here in this open drive in the fourth period. As you said, Jack, if they can put points on the scoreboard right now, it won't give them a comfortable lead, but it certainly will put a lot of pressure on Iowa.
Sure will. Hawkeyes would need 2 scores to overtake Ohio State. Late pitch out to Carlos Snow. Snow busts up to the 40, and then he's cracked hard. Dwight Sistrunk helmeted Snow to the turf after he advanced it for about 5 or 6.
Carlos Snow taking this pitch, sees some daylight, but he gets upfield, and Sistrunk, number 22, who happens to be the third leading tackler on the Iowa football squad, shows you why he's so impressive back there in that secondary.
Yeah, that's why I didn't opt for tailback when I played football. Actually, I didn't even go out for the team. Carlos back for a second try, plunging for 3. Third down and 1 or 2 coming up. We've played a minute, fourth quarter. Merton Hanks on the last tackle for Iowa.
First quarter score, Michigan State.
It's really an
Indiana 3.
important third down short yardage situation here. Of course, the Buckeyes can make this first down. They maintain possession of the football. They move closer to the Iowa goal, but by the same token, you know, they've got a weapon in punter Tom Tupa, but they need to control this football.
Third down, a little less than 2, closer to 1, needed for a first down. Snow looking for an avenue. He's got it. Carlos Snow stepped out of bounds back at the 42, but he's got a first down. Fans looking on as Carlos went down on the Ohio Stadium track across the way. He had stepped out of bounds back at the Iowa 42.
High formation, quick pitch. Carlos Snow following George Cooper, getting good blocking at the line of scrimmage. Big hole. He gets through the hole, down the sidelines, bumped out of bounds by Hanks right there. Snow continues to run down the sidelines, and it looks like his foot was rolled up on by one of the pursuing Iowa defenders. Number 5, Mike Burke, was in pursuit of Carlos, and that foot right there, that leg and foot right there that the Ohio State trainers are moving around appear to have been rolled up on by one of the Iowa defenders.
Carlos up on his feet. Gets a round of applause from the Ohio Stadium crowd.
Carlos running gimpily, and the 2 Iowa tacklers, as you see, their legs get tangled up, and momentarily the one leg was underneath Carlos Snow, although he is now trotting off the field, and it does not appear to be that serious of an injury. So Carlos Snow momentarily stunned. Ohio State fans show their approval and please, and they're being pleased with the fact that he was not seriously injured.
Snow's first down scamper puts the pigskin at the 42 of Iowa. 2 tight ends are employed. This is George Cooper, and he burrows down to the 35. He gains 7.
determined run by George Cooper as he meets resistance right here by Hayden at the line of scrimmage. Burke, number 5, tries to get him, but the big fella just keeps lumbering on down and getting good yardage on that Iowa strong defensive unit. Melvin Foster, 66, was our friend George Cooper, 22 yards rushing today.
Cooper and Bryant behind Tupa on 2nd down and 3. No, I shouldn't have said Bryant. Lance Price, who played his high school football in Toledo, was in there on that play. And he advanced it for about 2, so it was Cooper and Price. Price filling in for Snow. Lance Price had a fine high school career in Toledo, and that running play left the Buckeyes about a yard short. 3rd down. Buck's doing a good job controlling the clock in this half, keeping the ball out of the hands of Hartlieb.
Keeping it out of the hands of the Iowa outstanding offense, but again, they're in another short yardage situation, which is very, very important for maintenance of the football.
Tupa just got the play off. Snow back in there, sweeping for a 1st down. There is a flag. There is a penalty marker. Snow had picked up enough for the 1st down, but it may be brought back. Holding Ohio State.
Well, that really is going to hurt the Buckeyes because it puts them in a definite passing situation in order to get the 1st down. If the Iowa Hawkeyes elect to take this penalty, which they certainly will.
So that infraction sets the Buckeyes back on their heels at the 43. Ohio State can get a 1st down at the 32. It's 3rd and 11 following the 10-yard walk-off. It had been 3rd and 1. Buckeyes are out of field goal range now. Tupa lofting it for Ross. No good. Penalty marker down. It might be against Ohio State. Ross was well covered, and to get free, he pushed off. And that's a loss of down.
Tom Tupa elects to go for Everett Ross on this play, but he had number 89, the big tight end, Jeff Ellis, wide open down the middle on the play. There was contact right there at that point between Pipkins, the cornerback, and Everett Ross. The officials rule that Ohio State was guilty of the infraction. The Buckeyes are penalized. The ball is moved back again to the Ohio State 42-yard line. Buckeyes have lost some field on the last 2 plays, but Tom Tupa is now back in a 4th down situation and ready to punt.
Marciano was back at the 10. Tupa's inside his 30. Oh, he's in trouble. It's kicked away and caught and returned back inside the 40-yard line. Mike Burke was the man who picked off the deflected kick. Tremendous pressure applied on Tupa by the Hawkeyes.
Great gamble by Iowa. They really came after Tom Tupa, who was a little bit deliberate on his punting with his step. He takes 1, 2, 3, and he realizes that he's not going to get this punt off, then tries to adjust, finally does, tries to get it off on the run, doesn't get it anywhere. Ball's kicked to number 5, Mike Burke. Iowa has the football. Great field position on Ohio State's 37-yard line.
11 minutes, 30 seconds to go in the game. 21-15, Ohio State. This is Harmon trying to pop it to the outside. Cuts back for about 4. Ray Holloman pursued the play nicely for Ohio State. And that sets up a 2nd down and 6.
Although Tom Tupa's a little bit deliberate on his punting style, you have to give him a lot of credit, Jack. He did a marvelous job in just getting that punt off.
From the 33, second down. About 6 needed for a first down. Hartlieb wants to throw for it. Throwing a long one wide open is Cook, and he falls out of bounds at about the 10. Cook was unmolested. Buckeye defense forgot about him.
Well, Cook could have gotten some extra yardage on that play, but he is catching a ball into the bright sunlight. He's fighting the sun right there just to hold on to the football, make sure he comes up with the catch. He's not necessarily interested in advancing it. Falling out of bounds, smart thing to do by the big tight end, Marv Cook.
Cook stepped on the sideline. It's a 12, so it's a first down at that point. First and 10, Iowa. Draw play, Hudson. He's hog-tied and thrown down at the 6. Pelini and McCray and Dumas off the pile for Ohio State. Iowa can get a first down in the field of play at the 2.
Draw play to Hudson. He follows some interference. A little bit congested, but Hudson waits until things start to clear, gets down the sideline. He got a good block from 55 at the point of attack. That's Dave Alexander of Iowa, who plays the left tackle spot, who was coming across, trapping on the play. The Hawkeyes down, knocking on the door at the Ohio State goal line. The ball is just outside of the 5-yard line.
3 seconds on the 25-second clock. Iowa just got the play away. Hartlieb throws it through the uprights. No good. So because the 25-second clock was about ready to expire, Hartlieb hastily took the snap and just threw that play away, Paul.
Well, Eric Kummerow had something to do with that, too. Not only was he trying to get the play off and maybe throwing the football away, but Kummerow was all over him on that play. And Hartlieb wisely threw the ball away and waited for another play to see if he can be successful.
Now it's third down and 3. From just outside the 5, Buckeyes with a 10-man front. Some pressure on Hartlieb. He dumps it into the turf. Eric Kummerow was a big force on those 2 plays. Ray Jackson also angled in to put some pressure on.
Time and time again this year, number 47, Ray Jackson, has made key plays on the blitz. He's coming on the blitz right there as a rover back. Look at him right in Hartlieb's face. That's Ray Jackson causing that play to go awry. Eric Kummerow came in to mop up on the play, and the Ohio State Buckeye defense rises to the occasion and makes a big play, but Iowa is going to go on 4th down.
Hawkeyes somewhat undecisive about what to do. The play clock is running out. They just got the snap away. The Buckeyes trying to stop the running effort. Iowa got down to the 1 and picked up a first down. As Harmon slithered off right tackle, picked up 4 yards, appears to have the first down.
Straight handoff to Kevin Harmon. He goes behind the right side of the line over there. Greg Davis, 58. And just as you said, Jack keeps slithering in the Ohio State line, bouncing off tacklers, gets the ball down to the 1, and it is a big first down for Iowa.
Iowa very fortunate the 25-second clock didn't expire. And even more fortunate that the play gained 4 yards and a first down. Again, the Hawkeyes late coming out of the huddle. Play clock is down to 4. Up over the top goes the fullback. He's in for a touchdown. Iowa has tied it at 21. Dave Hudson went airborne for the 6 points, Paul.
Dave Hudson doesn't run the ball very much, but he's a big, strong running back. At 235 pounds there, he takes the handoff, goes up and over the top, breaks the plane in the end zone for the Hawkeyes to knock this ball game at 21.
Houghton will try to break the tie. And he does. Iowa leads 22-21. 9 minutes, 11 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
All right, from a look up above, Hartlieb getting the ball, bracing himself and springing up and over the top, following number 23 of Iowa, Richard Bass, who is also a fullback too, used in there from blocking. Now the ground level shot, 23 Bass ahead of number 20 Hudson, going up and over the top. Good blocking right there in the center of the line as Iowa goes ahead of Ohio State after the point after touchdown. The Hawkeyes now ahead by 1 point, 22-21.
And remember, it was a fine defensive play by Ohio State, or I should say by Iowa, which gave the Hawkeye offense the ball on the other side of the 50. And the Hawkeyes covered 37 yards in 7 plays. Hudson going the final 1 yard.
Strategic time for Iowa to go after the punt. Apparently the Hawkeyes felt that there would be 1 or maybe 2 opportunities to go after a punt in this ball game. They picked the right time to go after it, put a lot of pressure on Tupa. He could not get that punt off, and that gave them great field position.
Nearly the entire Ohio Stadium playing surface covered up in shadow now as Hartlieb prepares to kick off for Iowa. And his kickoffs have not been deep ones.
Have been short all day long, which is an advantage for the Ohio State offensive unit, because each time, with the exceptions of the penalties on the kickoff returns, the Buckeyes have been near or beyond their own 30-yard line starting up their offense.
Hartlieb, who has kicked a couple extra points, or I should say 1 extra point and 3 field goals today. End-over-end kick, Snow at the 9. Twists out to the 25, and the Buckeyes will start from there, trailing by 1 point. 9 minutes and 6 seconds to go. Jay Hess for Iowa was downfield on the tackle.
16 yards around to the kick.
This Iowa defense led in the middle by the nose guard. First team All Big Ten Dave Haight, who was an honorable mention All-American last year. This is Tom Tupa rolling out, firing to Everett Ross. That's a quick 11 yards, Paul. Tupa to Ross.
Looked real nice, the timing very sharp on it between Tupa and Everett Ross on the play. Number 4, the cornerback, James Pipkins, on this rollout, giving Everett Ross a lot of room as he's nowhere in the picture when you see Ross make this reception. Now finally, number 4, James Pipkins comes up, but Everett Ross goes out of bounds on his own accord.
9 minutes and a second left in the fourth quarter. Here's a reverse. Workman countering to the near side, and he's got about 8 yards as Workman dashed out to the 44.5, a yard and a half shy.
New wrinkle for the Buckeyes, but a very good one. Workman coming from almost a slot wingback position, following the blocking right there of Joe Stasiak. Workman getting good yardage and going out of bounds, being bounced out of bounds by Dwight Sistrom of Iowa.
Buckeyes rip off a quick 19 yards on their first 2 plays of this possession. Very short yardage by Snow. He only needed a yard and a half. He got most of that. Might be inches short. Brad Quast stood Snow up at the line of scrimmage and then got help from Dave Haight. The ball is marked about 2 feet short of a first down. 8.5 minutes to go in the game. Buckeyes trail by 1. 3rd down, less than a yard. George Cooper barges to the 46, and that's it. He's rolled down right there. Quast again on the hit for Iowa. Play didn't gain much. Buckeyes didn't need much for a first down. There's a little Buckeye fan
a ways to go before he'll be in the pads, though, Jack.
Well, he'll be in the pads about 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. Rolled up in his bed, no doubt. It is a first down for Ohio State out at the 47. Tupa, short pass to Snow. Snow wiggles up the sideline, gains about 6. Clock stops at 7:54.
Interesting play by the Buckeyes from a power I formation. They sent slot back Vince Workman straight down the middle. He was open. Tupa then dealt the ball off to the short man coming out of the backfield right there, number 25, Carlos Snow. Perhaps they might come back to that same formation again and elect to go up top.
Well, the clock continued to run, then finally stopped. It did not halt when Snow went out of bounds. A good 15 seconds ran off. Snow trying to spring it to the outside. He might have gotten a couple yards. He used all the width of the field he could. Got it down to the Iowa 45.5. It'll be third down and a little over 2. Kerry Burt strung out the play for Iowa.
Carlos showing a little bit of lack of discipline right there. He made up his mind pretty much so that he was just going to try to outrun everyone, and Iowa made him use every bit of the field to get what little yardage that he got on that play.
Third down. Buckeyes need nearly 3 for a first down. Carlos Snow is buried. He gained a yard. That's it. He's short of a first down. Mike Burke hopped on Snow's back, rode him down. J.J. Puck teamed up.
Well, this is going to really be decision time for the Buckeyes. Snow got the handoff in the I formation, started to cut back right at the point that he got the handoff and ran into Quest and J.J. Puck and did not get very far. But this is the time in the ball game where Earle Bruce feels that the Buckeyes have got to go for it. And there's no question about that.
Fourth down and 1. 25-second clock was winding down. Snow's got the first down. Carlos Snow surged to the 42. First down Bucks. Brad Quast on the tackle. A crucial first down on fourth down. Buckeyes picking up just a yard or 2 at a time, Paul, but they got 4 plays to get that first down. Took all 4 on that occasion.
Well, Carlos Snow got that 1 yard and really not much more, as this is a very stingy Iowa defense. And the Buckeyes at a very, very important point in this ball game in a good spot on the field. Did not want to give up the football.
Meanwhile, the clock continues to run. We're down to 6:40 to go. This is Snow looking for avenue, cuts it back. He stumbles down at the 41. Second down coming up in at least 8. Brad Quast slowed down the play for Iowa, which is giving up ground very grudgingly.
Buckeyes still not in field goal range yet. They need at least another good 10 to 15 yards. 15, maybe closer to 20 yards.
Buckeyes need another first down for sure. 6 minutes and 6 seconds left in this fourth quarter. Iowa players shaken up. Myron Kepi perhaps had the wind knocked out of him on the previous play. Well, Paul, unlike the previous 2 first down plays, when the Buckeyes picked up a big chunk of yardage, they did not on this first down effort, and now must contemplate putting the ball in the air.
Well, up to this point in the fourth quarter rather, the Buckeyes are stuck pretty much to the ground, and I'd be a little bit surprised, not thoroughly surprised if they did put it up, but I think they're going to stick to the ground.
Tom Tupa throws to Everett Ross. He trapped it at the 25. Ross scooped it up on 1 bounce. 5:52 left. James Pipkins on the coverage of Ross. who trapped the football.
Well, just as I said that the Buckeyes would probably stay on the ground, they elected to go with the play-action pass, and the pass was open. Tom Tupa delivers the football just a little bit low. Everett Ross is open. However, it manages to touch the playing surface right before it goes into Ross's hands.
Buckeyes need every bit of 8 yards. Third down. Tupa's in trouble. He may run it. He's got a first down to the 27 of Iowa. A 14-yard dash by Tupa.
The Hawkeyes employed 5 defensive backs on that particular play. Tupa can't find a receiver. Feels the pressure as time and pocket is breaking down. He rolls to the left. He'll get a good block that you won't see from Vince Workman right there that knocks down Hanks and then hurdles. Struck a would-be tackler, gets the first down, is brought down by Quast, and Quast also helped on the play by Dave Haight.
And that block by Workman enabled Tupa to get the first down. You're right, Paul. 2 tight ends, first down Bucks. This is Snow behind left guard. He's got about 7 to the 22. J.J. Puck on the tackle. Down to 5 minutes left in this game. Zakharoff and Ulenek and Coles, the heart of that Buckeye offensive line.
Buckeyes going back to the ground attack, taking as much time off the clock as possible and moving for first downs. They're right in the middle of the field, utilizing, as you said, Jack, the big offensive line.
Second down and 4. George Cooper barges down to the 18 or 19, about a yard short of a first down. Down to 4.5 minutes left. Buckeyes well within the range of France now.
You said going into this ball game, a lot of pride on the line, and Buckeyes showing that they're not buckling down under a very good Iowa football team as they're forging ahead to the goal line against the Hawkeyes.
4 minutes, 8 seconds left. 2 tight ends, Ellis and Cook. Third down and 1. Carlos Snow, outside left tackle. He wriggles down to the 14. He's got a first down. Brad Quast tackled him. First down Bucks.
Good time management by the Ohio State offensive football team. Good blocking up front. It's all of the Ohio State front 7 blockers. Stasiak, Coles, Ulenek, Zakharoff, and Moxley pushing people back. Burke makes the tackle for Iowa, but Carlos Snow makes the first down.
Carlos, a workhorse today, over 80 yards, 25 carries. First and 10. George Cooper is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Nothing there. Steve Thomas stood him up. Dave Haight assisted. 3:20 to go. Buckeyes have the football between the hash marks. Hayden Fry says, let's hold him.
Jack, in a situation like this, of course, you want Ohio State to score, but you don't want them necessarily to score too quickly. There's 3 minutes, 7 seconds left on the clock right now. The Buckeyes take the time off the clock, continue to make first downs, and then get your score in with as little time left on the clock as possible.
This is play number 16 of this drive, a real time-consuming drive by Ohio State. This is Carlos dancing inside the 10. He's gone. Touchdown.
We just talked about Ohio State scoring, not wanting them to score too soon, but you take a touchdown whenever you can get it. And Carlos Snow this time takes the handoff. Watch him find the daylight and cut back across the grain Cutting back right there on Hanks, getting by him. Number 22, Sistrunk, gives up the chase. The Buckeyes offensive unit on the field right now, and it looks like they're going to go for a two-pointer, although Tom Tupa has just utilized one of the timeouts.
The Buckeyes lead by 5, 27-22, 2:45 to go. Here's a look at Snow coming right into your living room, Paul.
Coming right into the living room, getting good blocking at the point of attack, cutting off a block right there. And as you see, Jeff Ellis Coles now cutting back on Hanks, number 45, outrunning 22 Sistrunk of Iowa to the end zone, and the score for the Buckeyes. Good blocking up front by the Ohio State offensive wall.
Well, Buckeyes will go for 2. And if they get it, they'll be up to 7. And that will put the onus on the back of the Hawkeyes, who, should they get 6 points, they would have to go for 2 in order to win the football game.
Well, certainly in this season in which the Buckeyes have not been as consistent as they would have liked to have been in terms of total wins, this is a very big ball game for Ohio State. And Coach Earle Bruce certainly is going to pull out all stops to win it.
Earlier in this game, Iowa scored a touchdown, went for 2, didn't make it. Keep that in mind. Now the Buckeyes go for 2, leading by 5, 27-22. 2 receivers split far right, out of your picture to the bottom of the screen. Workman and Ross flank far right. Back to this side is Cook. Hemmed in at the 2-yard line as the Hawkeyes smelled it out. A lot of motion to the left on that play, and Cook, from his slot on the left, came back, took the handoff, counter to the right, but the Hawkeyes smelled it out.
Buckeyes showed real strong flow going to the left, and they had it to an inside handoff to Jay Cook from his tight alignment. It was a play certainly worth going for, except Iowa did a great job of defending it. Now let's take a look at this touchdown run again of Carlos Snow. Starting off to the right, breaking back to the left. Cole, 66, gets a good block. Ellis, 89 now. It's all Snow by himself as he gets by Hanks. And then number 22, Sistrunk, gives up. The two-point try, which was not successful, ground level shot. As you see, Tupa faking and now handing back with the flow coming off. However, Iowa's right there. Joe Mott, 97, is in a good position. Cuts back, tries to get to the end zone, but cannot quite do so as he's stopped by Kepi and also Kerry Burt, number 3. Good job by the Hawkeyes. All right, that scoring drive, 16 plays, 75 yards, 6 minutes taken off the clock. Snow, 14-yard run.
Paul, I can't believe that play for the two-point conversion try didn't work. Buckeyes disguised it well. Give Iowa a lot of credit.
You have to give Iowa a lot of credit. The Buckeyes made certainly the right choice in going for the two-point conversion. Iowa has to definitely score a touchdown right now just to top Ohio State. A field goal won't be any good. So Ohio State was trying to put the ball game completely out of reach if possible.
O'Moro spanks it down inside the 10. It's rolling out of bounds, or I should say inside the 15. And O'Moro will have to kick it again. 2:44 left in this game. 27-22 Ohio State.
Good judgment shown by Peter Marciano, number 26 of Iowa, in the deep spot back there. He went over towards the right hash and beyond the right hash, but he let the ball go out of bounds earlier in the ball game. Stewart, one of the deep men on the kickoff, went over to field, rather that's Saunders, who went over to field a kickoff and stepped out of bounds inadvertently and backed Iowa up. But this time Marciano showed good patience. Carlos Snow with a touchdown jaunt there, putting the Buckeyes up currently in this ball game.
Well, the Hawkeyes will no doubt get a little better field position now because O'Moro will be kicking it off from the 30. drills it down the middle. Backing up Harmon to the 1. He's on the loose. Harmon zipped all the way out to the 36-yard line. 35-yard dash for Harmon. That's what Iowa wanted.
Great field position. It was a fine kick by O'Morrow, but Harmon got up in the middle of the field and made a great return coming right back up the middle. Harmon, as you see, backing back up on the kickoff, now starts up the middle, looking for the opening, gets a block, breaks the tackle, and gets out in good field position at the 36-yard line.
Play action for Hartlieb. Open receiver is Bayless. He's cornered at the 40. Well, before that throw, Paul, the Buckeyes have done a good job last 2 quarters holding Hartlieb in check. 5
out of 16 Hartlieb was before completing this pass to Bayless. Hartlieb looking downfield, can't find anything, will go underneath the coverage to number 13, Rick Bayless. Bayless was knocked off his feet there. Eric Kummerow came up and made the stop.
Hartlieb throws up the right side to the tight end. Sean Bell on the tackle. Catch is good, but flag over at the Ohio State 45. Penalty marker was thrown in the Ohio State secondary. Buckeyes may have been guilty of having an extra man on the field. Or perhaps one too few. Mike McCray was hustling to the near sideline, trying to get off before the snap, and he didn't do it. One minute, 58 seconds to go in the 4th quarter. Off from the 45 all the way down to the 30.
Ohio penalty, illegal participation.
Penalty is tacked on at the end of the play, and the Buckeyes now find their backs against the wall. Iowa, with 1:58 and 3 timeouts left, is all the way over to the OSU 30-yard line, needing a touchdown to win the game. Another penalty marker. Harmon is bumped out of bounds. He coughed up the football, but he went out of bounds with it, and then the ball fell back in play. Penalty markers down all over the place.
Don't know whether they're going to rule this as a late hit on out of bounds against Harmon. If they do, it would really be costly to Ohio State. Harmon did not really have much room to run right there. Aggressive Buckeye defenders may have hit him a little late after he went out of bounds. I'm not sure. But it looks like it's moving up at the top of the screen where the flag was thrown. The wide receiver out there probably... That had to be their wide receiver, Devin Harberts, number 16, move. Also a hold being called by the officials, and so they're going to go back and take some real estate away from Iowa.
Well, there were penalties, plural, on the play, more than one, all of them against Iowa. So 5 yards are marched off against the Hawkeyes. Line of scrimmage now is the 40. Well, I should say 10 yards marked off as the 10-yard holding penalty was assessed. And Iowa must get all the way down to the 20 for a first down. It's 1st and 20. Paul, did you get all that sorted out?
I saw something altogether different.
I'll tell you, that one even gave Steve Bassford, our expert statistician, fits. 1 minute, 53 seconds to go. Hartlieb loses the football. Iowa Iowa covers it at the 48. It'll be second down and 32 coming up. Mike Sullivan was putting pressure on the quarterback, and he forced the fumble that Iowa recovered.
Great pressure by the Ohio State interior defensive line, just fighting and doing everything that they can do to get their Camaro blocking his view, and then pressure coming up from the middle. Ray Holloman looked like he caused the fumble. However, Iowa had enough poise to recover the football.
Hawkeyes have taken a timeout. A minute 33 to go in this game. Hayden Fry and his quarterback are discussing strategy. And now's the time when Hayden's going to reach into that playbook of his and try to pull off one of those tricks. They need 30-some yards for a first down, Paul.
30-something yards for a first down, and you know, a field goal is not going to help them in this situation. As you take a look at the scoreboard to see exactly where we are in this ball game with the stats, the big item on that scoreboard is 27 for Ohio State and 22 for Iowa. Hawkeyes have a challenge ahead of them. The Buckeyes, of course, have to stop them.
This is Hartlieb throwing up the right side. The tight end is wide open. And he got back about 25 of those 31 yards. Dumas bumped the tight end to the sideline, but Cook hauled it in. He was all by his lonesome.
It's a well-conceived play, one that Iowa has used before by sending the wide receiver deep and then having the tight end, Marv Cook, just to hang the sidelines underneath the coverage. And he hangs right in between coverage and picks up a big piece of very valuable yardage.
Third down and 5 for Iowa. Buckeyes showing blitz. This is Harmon. He's buried at the 23. Chris Spielman on the tackle. The Hawkeyes are 2 or 3 yards short of a first down. They've used another timeout. Iowa has 1 left. A minute 16 to go. And the play of the game is coming up. 4th down.
Well, it all comes down to this for the Hawkeyes. They made up a lot of yardage on the preceding play, and it was one, as we stated before, Jack, that they had shown to the Ohio State Buckeyes by sending the wide receiver, Harvard, down the sideline deep, drawing the coverage real deep, and then they send the tight end angling out towards the sideline, and he just pulls up and hangs up in an area between 15 and 20 yards deep, and Hartlieb gets the ball to him. It's been a very effective play.
Only a fox could think of that. Only a fox.
Well, Hayden Fry has been accused of being one of the most creative minds in the Big Ten, but he always has fine teams, and they always have interesting ideas about how to get the job done offensively.
Ohio State fans rising to the occasion. 4th down and 3 for Iowa. It's do or die for the Hawkeyes. 1 minute, 16 seconds to go. Two tight ends, 2 wide receivers. The pass for Cook is caught. He's rolled down at the 15. As it was Cook against Pelini one-on-one in the left flat about 7 or 8 yards downfield.
Cook from his left tight end position gets a clean release, and there's just no way you're going to stop this pass because it's hit too quickly. He's a big fella. He's about 6 foot 4 inches tall and makes an imposing target.
We're down to 1 minute to go. Iowa has a timeout left, just one. Oh, Camaro! Boy, did Camaro ever put a stick on the quarterback. A big
Comerot, but he comes from the right part of your screen and drops Hartlieb just as he is about to look for Quinn Earle, who breaks open on the post pattern over the middle. So that was a timely sack by Eric Comerot as Hartlieb is looking for Quinn Earle, but he just can't have enough time to get the ball to him. Big play by Ohio State and Eric Comerot in particular.
And Hartlieb managed to hold on to that football.
Amazingly, because Comerot really thumped him pretty good, and usually the ball pops open.
When play resumes, the line of scrimmage will be the 23, which is the point at which the Hawkeyes converted a 4th and 3 2 plays ago.
Buckeyes came with a big blitz on that play. A little bit of a gamble, but they felt they had to gamble in that play. Coach Earle Bruce walking up and down the sidelines, but they made the gamble work.
Iowa has expended all its timeouts. They have none left. They must get to the 5 for a first down. Second down and 18 yards to go. It's a pitch out. Harmon sweeping to the right. The Buckeyes tackle him, and he stays in bounds. The clock runs. Eric Comerot with 2 great plays in a row. A quarterback sack, and then the tackle by Harmon, who tried to get out of bounds. He couldn't do it. We're down to 25 seconds left. Third down. Iowa must get a first down at the 5. They need a touchdown to win it. Comerot after the quarterback again, and it's a bad throw. Incomplete. Fourth down coming up. 16 seconds to go. A thriller.
The play that caused this hurry-up style of offense was the play in which Kevin Harmon tried to run the football and get it out of bounds. Great pursuit by Comerot and also Jackson, and they get him and nail him before he gets out of bounds. That causes and triggers Iowa with no more timeouts to hurry up their offense and get back in to another formation and get a playoff.
Buckeyes trying to regain a lot of respect with a victory over Iowa. Fourth down. The pass is down to the 10-yard line. It's caught. And it's down to the goal line. It's a touchdown for Iowa. Six seconds to go. Earle Bruce and the Buckeyes deserve better fate. Iowa's last offensive play of the game, touchdown to Cook.
It is the same play that they had completed 2 other times by sending the wide receiver deep and then the tight end trailing, hanging the sidelines, and it works again as Bell cannot turn to look for the football and he misses Cook. The converging Buckeyes cannot stop the big tight end before he breaks into the plane. Tough break for the Buckeyes. As you said, Jack, they deserve a better fate.
Sure do. Extra point try coming by Houtland. And it's good, and it's 29-27. Who would have believed? That pass play on 4th down and 24 covered 29 yards, went all the way to the end zone.
Another look at the TD and game-winning pass for the Hawkeyes from the end zone camera. As we said, the Hawkeyes had shown this pass before. You see the deep wide receiver clearing the area, but Sean Bell is right there with Cook, but he cannot bring him down. He cannot look back for the football, and Cook makes the reception, gets into the end zone. Hartlieb will open to his left, turn back right, and he's looking for the tight end all the way. Bell, number 3, is there, but he overruns it. He does not look back for the football. And then Pelini cannot converge and stop the tight end once he has his momentum going into the end zone.
Well, the disconsolate Ohio State fans look on. 6 seconds separate the Buckeyes from another defeat, and it would be their 4th. They have outplayed Iowa most of this game. Earle Bruce and his coaching staff have put together a marvelous game plan and have done a good job stymieing this potent Iowa offense. Buckeyes were in hopes of winning the game, regaining a lot of respect, enhancing their bowl prospects, and finishing the Big Ten. But that touchdown pass from Hartlieb to Cook seems to have put the Ohio State thoughts of victory down the drain.
Well, there's still 6 seconds left to go in the ball game. The Buckeyes still have a chance, but I'm sure that this kick will be kicked on the ground, and the Hawkeyes will be attempting to keep Ohio State from making much of a return of it.
And it's a grounder bouncing down inside the 20. And it's brought back up the field by Workman, who slides down at the 37. Buckeyes try to get a timeout called, and they do at 3 seconds. Time for a play. And they hope for perhaps a pass interference and a field goal.
Well, it's not going to be any surprise to anyone exactly what Ohio State is going to do in this situation.
Of course, keep in mind, with a rule change a few years ago, a pass interference call would just be 15 from the line of scrimmage. It would continue the game one more play. We can recall what happened last year in the kickoff classic, Ohio State and Alabama, when the Buckeyes kept throwing passes at Chris Carter and Alabama kept committing fouls. This is Tupa. Clock is down to 0. He hurls a bomb for Tony Coop, and it is broken up down inside the 10-yard line, intercepted by Iowa, and the Hawkeyes, on their last offensive play of the game, have pulled out a thriller, 29-27. Buckeyes, Paul, deserve better fate, and now it's Michigan next week in Ann Arbor. Buckeyes try to regain some of that respect that they were, just a few seconds away from regaining today.
Just a few seconds away from regaining today, but they played a fine ball game throughout the day, both offensively and defensively. Deserved a better fate, but it wasn't to be.
A 2-point loss last week, another 2-point setback today. Buckeyes seem to be snake bit. Fine game quarterback by Tom Tupa. Hayden Fry winning for the first time here in Ohio Stadium. First time since 1959 Iowa has won here in Columbus. So for Paul Warfield and Steve Bassford, our statistician, Jim Henderson, our spotter, this is Jack Kramer saying so long from Ohio Stadium in Columbus, where Iowa has edged Ohio State 29-27.